Boom, baby. I think we are live. Yes, we are. We're rocking and rolling on YouTube. Welcome to Interview with the Man, episode 608. I have fixed my internet issues and we are ready to roll with today's episode. It's me talking about when I was on Jedediah Bila's show.
Make money, make muscles, learn game. If you're listening to me, you're a hot dude. The hot dude life is not about your physical appearance. The hot dude life is a mentality. The Hot Dude Army is a global network, and the Hot Dude Army is everywhere. Decrease your judgment of others and increase the judgment of yourself. You belong to the streets, huh? 100%. It starts with learning dating, and then you move on to something to push humanity forward. That is the philosophy of modern life dating. This is a textbook example of really good game.
All right. Good evening to everybody watching. Welcome to Interview with the Man. We are live at our new time, 9 p.m. So it's your guys' Monday night. It's my Tuesday morning. Let me tell you something. I slept like a log last night because I went back with my personal trainer. And yes, I got to tell you, I'm so happy and grateful for you people watching at home right now at this time that are enjoying this the 9 p.m. show for you guys, because I'm telling you guys what this has done for the quality of my life and quality of my sleep is life-changing. I'm not even joking. My Aura ring is we're just through the roof, baby. If you guys are not using Aura ring, I gotta say, I don't know, you're just missing out on an opportunity to really take a look at your health. Let me show you what I did. See, look, okay. See, this is my sleep score for yesterday. Oops, there's the new lighting. Great. Come on, zoom in. There we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. See, that's Aura Ring. Look at those markers. Phenomenal. And then obviously yesterday, the activity burn was not too bad. It has these little trackers on here. Look at that. Got a 90 score. I think I walked. I was active. Yeah, but they say I burned 600 calories. I don't know about that. I did do a personal training session and walked, look, like 11,000 steps. Anyways, I got to tell you, the quality of my life now that I've joined regular society and going to bed at night. I fell asleep last night at 11:45 p.m. and I woke up this morning at like 8:30. Let me tell you something. I feel fantastic. Our moderator is in the house, Mr. Harry Zikos, says, I'm ordering one soon. Okay. Isidore called, I love the new time slot. That's seriously, guys. I had a big like freak out. I was just like, I don't know if anybody's gonna watch the show at night, but the numbers have been through the roof. And shout out to the people from Twitch who are like actually watching. So, okay, this episode, let's talk about this. I gotta put on my glasses. I'm ashamed. I'm gonna put on the Tom Fords. All right. So this episode, So people say they love this episode. I personally, I look at this, I don't know. I was like internally grimacing the entire time. And it's not to say anything bad about Jedediah at all. Let me tell you something. Jedediah Bila, that woman is, and look, I know in America everybody likes to kiss women's ass and stuff. So I'm gonna pretense this very well. That woman is seriously a class act. Like through and through, a classy, beautiful, like intelligent woman, and not like, oh, like, it doesn't, it takes a lot to get praise out of me, man or woman. However, Jedediah has been class act through and through. She treated me like a human. Because sometimes these chicks you meet, especially I was in Miami too, to top it off. But Jedediah was a fucking angel. And actually her booking agent just reached out to me tonight and rebooked me. So I may be on her show this Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is going to be 3 a.m. Tokyo time, everyone. So just everybody pay attention because I'm doing this for you. Okay. And I love what I do, but that's going to be, I like my new sleeping time. We all know about this, right? Oh, look at this is scheduled for 8. Oh, wow. Yeah. See, I'm still in the 9 a.m. mindset. Look at that. I'm meant to schedule 9 p.m. It's all good. The ones who find me, the real ones will find me. You are the real one. If you're listening to me live, how many people we got here? 53, 62. I don't even care. Honestly, I'm the man regardless. But Jedediah is having me back on. So another thing, this damn shirt from Xenia. Oh God, guys, it just kills me. I die inside. That black shirt I'm wearing from Xenia is not tailored, right? The white shirt I have is tailored. I have a very thick neck from wrestling, and I was wearing this fucking Xenia, European fucking Euro person crap, so tight around my neck and just making me look like Bulbasaur. I want to die when I look at myself. And Jed's audience too. I was just like, all right, they're really conservative. So I was like, kind of like tame myself. Because before I went on this show, I'm going to be very honest with you. Before I went on the show, I kind of had a complex about my content. Like, only like a small niche amount of people will watch me. That's why they're shadow banning me. That's the only amount of people that can like really relate to me. But then like after Fresh and Fit, and then, I was on this show, Jedediah. But then like when I got to the Whatever podcast, and I was done with the Whatever podcast, and then like had so many people reach out to me like, I love exactly what you're saying. It kind of flipped the switch. And then I was looking at the data again, and here, whatever, you guys be the judge. You shall be the judge. Clicking share on this screen here. Okay. So here, okay, here's Jed's channel. Jedediah, go subscribe. She's awesome. 158,000 subscribers. I told her to apply for the check mark. You got to get the check mark, babe. You can see the content here if you go to the lives, right? So Sterling's there, 90K. Good job. Crazy girl. I think she's gonna follow up with me on this. I'm gonna wear a suit for her. For Jed, I'm gonna show up Mr. Professional again. 137K views there, right? 50, 60, 53, 30. Jay Waller, good work. Jay Waller and Sterling together, 153, right? And then here's your boy, 217. So I feel like, the number's pretty high. And then the only person who did better than me was Pearl, and Pearl has a titan of a channel. Pearl has 1.24 million subscribers. So your boy just crossed 131 subs today. And let me tell you something. The validation feels fantastic. I know I'm not supposed to live off of this validation, but I'm gonna tell you something. It feels great. And I'm reveling in it. It just feels nice to know other people agree with what I have to say. Like that I'm not fucking crazy Although I always knew it wasn't crazy. And look, see, Destiny, 264,000, and Destiny has a huge fan base. Destiny's fan base is like in the millions. I've been watching Destiny. I was a Destiny fan back in the day. Like I like the guy. You know, I said what I said when I do my coverage on him, but I have no problem with the guy. I would love to hang out with that guy. He's very, very, very smart. He's just, he just different views. There's Allie. She got 32K, 143 in these delusional women. So you can see, despite me not liking the interview and hating it, not hating Jed, but just hating like a lot of things about the interview. Thanks, Nina. The people seem to respond to it. So let's check it out. We're going to go right into it right now. This is me. And another thing, when I was doing it, I was just trying to like, I was tempering myself. My sister called me after the show. She's like, no, that's smart. It's a good thing you tempered yourself because you got to know your audience and you got to temper your message based upon that person's audience. So I take her words of wisdom. Jim says, John, this was an amazing interview with Jed. The positive tone is so refreshing. Much love from Buffalo, New York. Hey. The Bills actually are a threat again. It must be feeling good. Your sister's single song? Yes, she is. And you can go ahead and try to tame that one. Good luck. Me and my family, we've given up. All right, here we go. Let me know if you guys can hear this. You should be able to hear it. There we go. Let me know if you can hear it. Let's go PIP. Yeah.
A little more. Okay, I'm here. Calm down, Jed. Calm down. I've been up since 3 a.m. because my little man decided that he wanted to rise at 3 a.m. and hence we all had to be awake eating breakfast. So if I'm a little wired today, it's not caffeine. You can blame my child. Love you, baby. All right. Very special show today. I have someone in the house that everyone is really, really excited about. I'm excited about as well. So I'm going to intro. First of all, let's show his fantastic face. And by the way, all dressed up. I'm going to call you MLD. Your name is Jonathan.
Yes.
Your last name, John. I always say it, Jonathan Hogwood. Is that correct? Okay.
Correct.
Jonathan Hogwood, Modern Life Dating. You know the channel. You know the spice. You know it. Well, I had to bring him in.
She is very good at what she does, and she has a very good voice. And did you guys know? So she said something about Hillary Clinton, and I think she was at Fox or on The View or something like that, and she criticized Hillary, and Hillary got her fired. I don't know if you guys know the backstory on that. And Jed does not like any of the modern victimhood Olympics stuff. She's pretty cool. She's cool. Listen, she was a very, very sweet woman when I met her. Very accommodating, great, played her part right. Because, when you're doing these interviews, you got to do your part. Obviously, she's a professional. 10 out of 10. And we were talking and she didn't realize how hilarious I was until after the interview, because during the interview I was so tame. And then I went to whatever. I was like, bitch, shut your mouth. Just like going ham in California. Oh, man. Jesus Christ, dude. Jesus Christ. What a time to be alive. Anyways, let's go back to this.
He is here. Here's what we're going to talk about today. The title of the show was Masculine Men Are Leaving the U.S. to Find Feminine Women.
Hey, shout out to you, Marty Boss, for signing up. You got those red pill emojis. Go ahead and put those red pill emojis and those hot dude life emojis in the chat if you're a member. If you want to be a member, go ahead and click that join button. You support me. All of this goes right back to the show and the new studio. And if you can't support me, pray for my visa to be approved, because it's coming.
Because it is a problem. It is real. It is happening. Here's what's on the docket today. I want to discuss dating, marriage, feminism, promiscuity. I want to get into some health and some matrix stuff. Jonathan and I are going to react to some viral social media content. We've got some tweets from our friend Rollo Tomasi. I've got a tweet from Tommy Lauren. There was an exchange that happened between her and I this morning. Interesting. And then someone else jumped on the bandwagon and wanted to remind me that she, in fact, does not need a man. So we're going to talk about that. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome.
Look at this vice grip this fucking thing has on my neck. It's even, oh God, I hate it. The lighting on this set is fantastic. Look at my Rolex. Looks beautiful. It does look beautiful.
And at the end, you can plug whatever you want. Everyone, just make a note. Get in that chat. We're going to be reading those super chats. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button if you like the fact that I brought Jonathan in here today. All right, so much to talk to you about. You do a little bit of everything. I discovered you from the YouTube channel.
Right.
Then I did a little digging, and I was like, wait, he's a coach. He's doing this one-on-one coaching for men. You're talking about not only just dating, but like health, fitness, relationships, fashion.
Yes.
You're getting into all of that when it comes to men. And I was told that you coined the money.
Somebody was hating on my earrings. I was just like, no, you can't even. My earrings are pimp daddy. Those were a present from somebody.
Muscles game frame. Is that correct?
Yes.
Money, muscles, game frame. So I have to ask before anything, because people say that all the time. They repeat it, that line that you created. Where did you get, like, what brought you to a place where you were like, money, muscles, game frame, that's the recipe for guys?
So I've been coaching men hands-on since 2019, right? And I don't do YouTube to be like popular or whatever. Like, it's kind of a necessary evil at this point. I don't want to be popular. I don't want to be mainstream at all. What I want is I'm looking for men who want to change their lives, right? And when it comes to men, what I call is the core four: make money, make muscles, learn game, and hold frame. These are the four.
That Puerto Rican dude in Miami, look at how clean this fucking haircut is. I cannot get a haircut this clean in Tokyo. That guy was just like a ninja, man. Shout out to homie. Somewhere in Brickell, I forgot where, but that guy fucking tightened me up.
4 components that I believe every man has to deal with in his life. And if he doesn't deal with these aspects, life is going to be a lot harder for him, because he's going to want a wife. He's going to want a good body. Every man wants to be physically strong. He's going to want to be able to choose a good woman, because we know a lot of guys that fall in love with women that, you know, I'm going to keep it PG on your show. They're
not the highest quality. Let's just say that.
Right.
You don't
Yeah, see, so and that's why I said keeping it PG on the show. The whole show in my mind, I'm like filtering what I need to say like 1,000 times in my head. Because here on my degenerate planet, I say whatever the fuck I want. Because, you know, it seems to be working out okay for me so far. You know, we'll see what happens. But so far, so good. But yeah, I don't know. People like this interview. Maybe I should keep it tame.
Let's keep it PG. By the way,
Yeah, right.
This is a space to just go buck wild.
I'll warm up. It's my first time here. It's first time here. Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, there's a lot of guys out there fall in love with hoes, and it's just not a good idea. You have to understand, this woman is good for keeping long term. This woman is good for recreational use only. And the fourth part is hold frame, which is in the internal component of like the man's internal self-esteem, what he's okay with, what he's not okay with, and upholding those standards in his life. Because nobody likes a man with no backbone unless they're going to take him for granted.
So what do you make? We've been covering a lot of panels where you will see like women and their boyfriends, and I consistently see women stepping into a masculine frame and men stepping into a feminine frame. I mean, they just vanish beside their girlfriends. You can see them cowering, waiting to see if their girlfriends are comfortable with what they're saying, walking on eggshells. And you don't just see it on videos we release. You see that happening in people's marriages, honestly, everywhere. What's going on there that these guys have lost their sense of being a man?
We have lost masculine role models in America. Like, the average dude is coming from a single mother household where not only is the father not present, the father is not present due to the mother, separating them, engaging in the divorce. And then typically, you know, where have you ever met a woman who's talking great about her ex-boyfriend or ex-husband?
Yeah, that's true.
And who does she tell it to? Everybody.
Everyone who will listen,
including the kids, right? And you have these kids who look at mommy as, you know, number one, because you're a child. That's who you're dependent on, mom, right? Especially when dad's not there. So mom's word is life. Mom's word is everything. And then they're engaging this smear campaign on the fathers. So you have women growing up with bad ideas and perspectives of men, and then you have young men growing up feeling like, I'm bad.
No female mods, Morgan. Sorry.
Like, I'm inherently an evil or bad individual because I was just born a man. And it's absolutely terrible, man or woman, but it's absolutely terrible. And it's exclusively a problem happening in America, and in the Western Hemisphere. This is not happening in Asia. This is not happening in the Eastern Hemisphere. And this is why I believe that if America doesn't turn this around, like, we're circling the drain, because you cannot be a successful country. You cannot be a successful nation if you're going to be consistently demoralizing and demonizing half of the population.
Yeah.
It's just
That's right.
illogical.
And it's become acceptable to just wreck men.
Yeah.
And that's the difference. I want bad behavior to be able to you can criticize, men behaving badly, you can criticize women behaving badly, but it seems like in society now there's very few people willing to do that. It's the free pass, go pick on a bunch of men, ha ha ha, let's all laugh about it. But the second you say something about a badly behaved woman, you're labeled a pick me, a misogynist, all sorts of things. It's interesting what you say. I think a lot of this talk about toxic masculinity has been internalized by men in a negative way, and they're trying to just now try to figure out how to get out of that mold that they've.
And that's why. And listen, this is why the Fresh and Fit show is so good, right? You know why it's so good? Because you could go and like watch these girls that are just like absolute fucking train wrecks and rude pigs of people, and then listen to her judge a guy like you, and you're like, oh, okay. so that's what's going on up there. Okay, cool. Well, you're crazy, so get out of my way. I want to find a normal woman. Like now when a chick criticizes, listen guys, anytime anyone criticizes you, it should be water off a duck's back. But like when these young hoes talk some shit, at least to me, I just laugh. I'm just like, yeah. And you still use public transportation. Like I have achieved so much. I've changed so many people's lives. And you're just big mad because, dad didn't hug you, or, your last ex dumped you or something. You're carrying around some bitterness in your heart. There's a lot of that in America. It's funny. This general angst towards men that is like just normalized in the population. Like people are just like accepting it. It's a cultural phenomenon that literally, when I go back home, I'm just like, wow, this is crazy. It's not everywhere, but it is in certain people. And it's just like, how, like, life is too easy. The fact that you have been able to survive this long with such a large level of incompetence is truly a modern miracle, facilitated by men. And that's how safe the world we are living in is. We have fucking nerfed the world. And let's go.
They've kind of adopted and they've accepted.
Thanks, Kimberly. You better love me.
That society has handed them. And at the same time, you have so much internalized feminism when it comes to women that we don't even realize. We may be conservative, we may be pro-life, but we don't realize that the lens through which we see it.
Thanks, AJ says, this is your best interview. Great chemistry between two of you. I'll tell you what, it was, Jedediah is really good. She's a professional. This woman's she's not a fucking kid on YouTube. This is a professional woman who was on like broadcast television. And that's why she truly is a class act. I can't say enough good things about her. And, Adam too, listen, as much as I went feral on Natalia, which I'm going to temper on that from now on, Natalia said, get your short clip on the Valuetainment episode that I was on. She's like, get your short clip. Well, I got it. I think it's almost at 1 million on my Instagram. We're at 964,000. So we're going to cross over that in the million. Can you see that big mad face in the middle? Oh, thank you, Natalia. But I still love you, Natalia. I will coach you for free. I will coach you 100% for free. I love the people on Valuetainment. I got no problem with them. They've been nothing but professional and, real nice to me. So, yeah. We got a super chat. Look at this. I'm the richest man in the world. AJ Banks, $5 super chat. Great channel. I subbed last weekend. Thank you so much, Mr. Banks. Appreciate it. Let's continue on with the interview.
Everything has that kind of haze over it. You actually have to sit back and be like, wait a minute, I don't really feel that way. Was I programmed to say that? What is going on? You have to catch yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you, because you mentioned you don't live here.
No.
So let's talk about, you live in Japan. Let's talk about, you moved there a while back, as far as I understand.
Right. So I first left the United States November 4th, 2012.
Okay.
And I lived in the northern region from Tokyo in Saitama, Japan. I lived in Saitama for 1 year. And then I started just traveling around the world and kind of seeing different parts. I've always been traveling since I was young. I was raised a Pentecostal missionary kid.
Oh, okay.
Like missionary in the sense, like I was always going on mission trips. So I went
Yeah.
to Africa, I went all over the place. I was
So used to the travel.
I was telling everybody about Jesus from a young age. I was
Yeah.
in school to be a pastor at one point.
Interesting.
I got kicked out for being a bad boy, but it's for the better.
Shocking. Shocking.
I'm here now. I've done
Yeah.
something right. I've done
Yeah.
something right. But yeah, you know, I understood. I saw the writing on the wall, right?
What do you mean by that?
I saw America kind of steering away from traditional values, and traditional values are traditional for a reason. They work. You know what I mean? Everybody's like saying like, well, this is modern times now. Like we got to adjust to modern times. Like adjust to what? Everything fucking is not good. Like in regards, like in Japan, when I like go out and I just talk to a girl, she's not like, what do you want? Are you trying to have sex with me? I'm like, Jesus, like relax. This is McDonald's. I'm just like, you know, I'm just saying hi. Men and women like get along in Japan, and like they understand, like it's just
I got to say, now that I'm back in Japan, I'm happy to be back in a normal culture where people are like, do their job and like, you know, they participate in things like customer service, friendly service with a smile, doing your job, all right, not hating your life and, you know, fucking staring at Instagram trying to look at some life that you want to have. I don't know. I'm happy to be back in Japan. I got to take America in doses, you know.
It's normal to get along with the other gender. And so here it's like you're kind of public enemy number one as a guy. Like, you know, like I almost feel like when I come back to the States, sometimes I feel like a second class citizen just for being a man. Like I was flying out of Minnesota one time to go back to Tokyo. The lady at the register or at the counter for the Delta, she had completely messed up my flight information, and she was like, okay, you can't get in, you don't have a visa. I was like, actually I do have a visa, it's right here. Not not like a credit card, but an actual visa to get into a country, because I'm not a member of Japanese society in regards to like being a citizen, right?
Okay.
So my visa was fine, everything was fine, and she was like talking down to me, and I was just like, lady, like you're wrong and you don't know what you're talking about. And she flipped out on me, right, and started yelling at me, and she's like, we're going to cancel this guy's flight and stuff.
Shout out to United Airlines. Thank you so much for giving me a wonderful, wonderful experience with that lady. She was big mad. She was like screaming and like pointing in my face like this. I was like, bitch, like if this is the streets, do you understand what people would do to you acting like this? You'll be on the front page of World Star, woman.
Uh-oh, retard alert.
God, it's a terrible story.
And I was just like, this lady's fucking nuts. And then I'm just like, she just didn't like the fact that I was challenging her on the fact that she was wrong. I think a lot of chicks nowadays in the States, they walk around unchallenged. They walk around like if somebody challenges them, they take it as a personal offense, you know, and they crumble at the slightest, how can I say, just challenge to their beliefs. You know what I mean?
Well, that's because, you know, women get told all the time, you're right. You know, you look at the whole Me Too movement, and, you know, it's not to say there weren't certain components of that initially that were beneficial, but largely it was believe her on second one.
Yeah.
And I took enormous issue with that. I said, well, how could you just believe a woman by virtue of the fact that she is a woman? Don't things require an investigation? Aren't we innocent until proven guilty? What's going wrong in society that suddenly, just because you're born a woman, you have a right to be, you know, you're suddenly right on everything on second one. So I think, you know, there's a lot going on in this country that's messed up in terms of the double standard and how men and women are treated. And I think the good news is that I think more and more people are becoming aware of that. I see a rising culture of men that have a newfound awareness that they've been painted as the bad guy from second one. What you said before, it's like a guy approaches you and it's like a woman is entitled to think, oh, this guy's going to do X, Y, and Z wrong before he even opens his mouth.
Right. Yeah.
So it becomes really challenging. There's a good number of men now, though, I think, that are standing up to that and saying,
you know,
I'm going to own my.
I like, and I'm happy that she understands, because that's a big struggle that guys deal with at home. Like when you like when I meet a girl, she just like, because there's so many fucking simps and dorks out there, they just automatically follow me in that category sometimes. And I'm just like, excuse me, bitch. No, that's not the case whatsoever. You know, the entitlement is just, it's palpable. And you know what? You can see it the most on the Whatever podcast with Brian and his those girls from California. Those girls from California are just mean-hearted bitches, dude. A lot of them. Not all of them, but they are some mean-spirited people. And what the funniest part is how like they're under the guise of being like morally superior, and these are like some of the shittiest people out there. It was unreal. They were really nasty to Allie last night. Real Fem Sapien was on Whatever podcast last night, and the girls were really nasty to her. But you know, they were just like these pompous little kids. I wanted to be there so bad. I was like, Jesus, I wish I could be. Me and Allie, we could tag team them, and game over. You know, Allie would be there just like refilling my water and helping me out and giving me stats when I need it. No, Allie's a great girl. She is awesome. She needed backup last night. It was 5-on-1, and Brian didn't even stick up for me when I was there. I think he's just so worried about being canceled, but like, you know, you got to have a little bit of backbone about you if you're gonna fucking be saying this shit about, you know, up the current dating culture online, because, you know, you better have backbone. You better have backbone.
My masculinity, I'm going to own the fact that I'm a good guy, that I'm not here to do any harm. I'm not going to, if you do something wrong, I'm going to challenge you, and I'm going to be comfortable doing that. I want to ask you about Japan, though. This is very interesting to me. How is dating different in Japan? Like, what do our traditional gender roles like look? Do they look different there? Talk to me a little bit about the dynamics between men and women there.
It's extremely traditional. The majority of women that go to college, their number one agenda is to find a husband. On the television, like, you don't have like a woman and a husband, and like the husband's an idiot, and she's like, oh, you know, my husband's an idiot, but thank God I have Tide, because, you know, I've solved this, you know. And that's just not the case. Men and women get along on the television shows there. They're still like, there's commercial over there for laundry detergent, and it's like a bunch of housewives with aprons like dancing under the sun singing, right? And the women know their role and they know their place, right? And when I say that in America, like, what do you mean know our place, right? It's like immediately
triggered.
Yeah, and it's just like, you know, it's like letters. You have to put the letters in order to make a word, right? Everybody knows their place in order to make something work. You are in a relationship with your husband, right? You don't strut around and like try to run the show 24/7. There has to be order. But these modern chicks, they want like totalitarianism. They want like to be a dictator. They want everything their way.
Yeah.
And the smallest infraction against what they desire, they take it so internalized as like, this is a personal attack against me, and you're a racist, you're a misogynist, you're a bad guy, you're transphobic, you're like, they go down the woke shameless. So in Japan, like, it's actually customary for the date to be Dutch, like 50-50.
Wow.
Because they know that they have to come together and get married and have children, because they're still focused on traditionalism.
Yeah,
does that change?
They work
like,
together.
You're saying it's Dutch initially. Does that change if they do get married?
Japanese people just are very good at cooperating in general. They're all about working together and being like a good cooperating unit. That's for sure.
Does the man take on more of that financial responsibility at that point?
Yes, for sure. There is a massive traditional aspect to the relationships, to an extent that in really traditional Japanese households, the man understands he's got to provide for the family. So he actually hands over his entire salary to the mother or the wife, and then she allocates a portion of that for him to spend, and then she takes care of the children. So that's like one part of it.
That's interesting to me, because when you say like a woman has to know her place, people immediately will think you're being demeaning. But that's actually what you're describing is a structure where a woman has a lot of control, you know, where she knows her place as wife, mom. She's not trying to be the husband. She's not trying to be the man in the house.
Right.
But it's not like she's being disrespected. You know, there's a mutual respect that's derived from.
Shout out to Broker Mavity 999 Super Chat. Been watching you and Fresh and Fit a lot since I found you this year. You really did. Really glad I did. I have a lot of new perspective on various things. Thanks for the great great info. Working on inputting these in my life. Great stuff. Thank you so much, bro.
Rooting themselves in those traditional values. So that's
Right.
very interesting to me.
Yeah, a lot of women think like when I say like I want a woman that cooks, they think I'm gonna handcuff them to the stove and be
Right.
like, listen, it's stroganoff or uppercuts. Like, you know?
Right. Like there's a forced component to it.
Right. And it's
Mhm.
not like, you know, there's a beautiful girl that was on Valuetainment Money with us yesterday,
Yeah.
and she was conflating cooking and cleaning with slavery as a wife.
Oh,
And
she's been brainwashed.
I was just like, baby, you are gorgeous, but you are dumb. Like,
Mhm.
what are you talking about? Slavery? How is
Uh-oh,
cooking and
retard
cleaning,
alert.
taking care of the household and somebody you love slavery?
Mhm.
I like, if anything, you could argue that the man financially providing for a woman with the threat of divorce looming over his head,
Mhm.
where you have to pay alimony and child support for the rest of the, in some states like Florida, I think the rest of your life if you've been married for
Yep.
10 years, right? For
Yep.
alimony.
Yep.
I don't understand how you couldn't call that slavery. But if I'm like, hey, babe, can you like make a sandwich and wash the dishes? She's like, oh, I'm so oppressed. It's ridiculous.
Because women have been programmed, to everything that we hear is like, oh my God, I'm not going to be a 1950s housewife. You're not
Right.
going to put me backward. You're not
Right.
going to take me backwards. So now it's like even just taking care of a home, even just making your husband a sandwich, keeping a house clean, things that women, back in the day would value and would enjoy and would appreciate about themselves. Like, hey, I want to do this.
Yeah.
This is a sign of, me fulfilling my role. I want a beautiful home. I want, my husband to come home and have a beautiful dinner. I want, these were things that they took pride in.
Right.
They now have been taught for a very long time that those are signs of a weakness.
And honestly, I know there's like a lot of people in like the red pill space or whatever pill of choice you want to talk about, right? That are like, we got this, like women need to stay out of the movement, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool, I get it. But we do need women like appreciating us and agreeing with us in contexts like this. Like, all the women that agreed with Andrew Tate and stuff, that was really beneficial. And there's women out standing outside the fucking jail for them to this day. Like this chick was just there the other day. We do need women's voice of approval. Now, do we tailor our message for their approval? No. But we do need women like them on our page. But the thing is, like when you want to be a guy like, like I said, money muscles is a game for him. You want to be an above average guy. The average bum girl, like she is not equipped and capable to be with a person like you because you're operating at a higher level than the average mouth breathing 200-pound person in America. Okay. So just factor that in. And just because a girl is skinny and attractive still doesn't mean that she's like a mentally capable for a relationship. Because from what I picked up when I was there, these girls are good at sex. They're good at hoeing. They're good at attracting men. For sure. But they are not good at relationship skills. And this is even intrapersonal. I'm talking even with their friendships, their family, right? And when you're raised by a single mother, which statistically speaking, the majority of people are, the numbers and the data doesn't look good. And so there's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of like broken homes. So you're having broken people raise broken children, broken homes that are literally not together. And not every divorce is like my husband was beating the fuck out of me or, graping me or whatever. And so those people are grown up now and they're like in their 20s, their 30s, and they're walking around and they don't have conflict resolution skills. They don't have relationship skills. And they're out there and they're just blaming the other gender. And the problem is just them. But everybody's just lost in this sea of broken people in America. It's a phenomenon. I tell you, man, these people in Japan they're well adjusted, man. They come from regular homes. They're like not like the majority of these people are like sound, So that's the big thing that I've noticed when I'm over in the States. And these girls are and the funny thing is the girls are so big mad because they don't have a man in their life. Guys are just like, some guys just check out, like, whatever, I'm just going to go hiking the rest of my life and jerk off to porn. There's guys who just make those choices. But the chicks are the ones crying and crying and crying for relationships. Hilarious.
and B, that, guys are putting you under their thumb in
Oppression.
some way. Oppression,
Yeah.
slavery. That's why that word comes out. We hear that growing up as females, don't be oppressed by men. Don't, and it gets in your head so that you're then sitting on a panel with somebody and she's regurgitating there you go, misogyny, slavery.
Yeah.
And if she really sat back and thought about it, it would make no sense.
Yeah, Miss Montana yesterday had the audacity to say I was mansplaining. I couldn't it was like I was living the meme. I came here to America, and a beautiful white chick told me I was mansplaining. I was just like, oh God, get me on a fucking plane out of here.
Yeah, well, that is it. And I always say, it's interesting. I bring it back to politics sometimes, but I
couldn't believe Miss Montana had the audacity to say mansplaining.
always say in this country, it's very hard, for a man to run against a female, because a lot of components come into play. Suddenly you're on the stage and you have to be super conscious that you're debating a woman, and the media is going to portray it every time you raise your voice as, oh, look, he's trying to oppress her on the stage. He's trying to silence her. He's mansplaining. So I always say, are you interested? Do you want equality or not?
Yeah.
Because equality, if you really want it, means that you go out there and you can take the heat just like a man.
Right.
So that happens all the time. I love that when you're engaged in a debate with a female. As a guy, I watch it all the time, and a guy don't say, "You're mansplaining, you're misogynist." All the words come out.
It's retarded. And like if you really look at feminism, what it is, if you ever follow the roots of like female empowerment, feminism, any of the stuff, it always goes back to votes or money. That's all it is. Because this all started with consumerism, right? If you like think about, remember when Old Spice was just like not cool? Right?
Yes.
And they were a dying company, right?
Yeah.
So what they did is they realized that the majority of people who do the shopping for men's hygiene products are women.
That's right.
So they switched the marketing to target women, and they made like millions and millions and millions of dollars, turned the entire franchise around, right? The old commercial with Terry Crews and whatnot.
Yeah.
So a lot of companies saw this and they realized like, oh, wait, we should just start targeting women, marketing towards women, and making them the ones that we want to take the money from, right? But then it got to the point like marketing women, it became funny to like belittle men. And then, one marketing company sees a trend work, and then everybody starts seeing
That's
it,
right.
making
Monkey
it
see,
work.
monkey
And
do.
then next thing you know, you have a whole culture with the music, the media, the video games, the social media, which is huge, all demonizing men. But if women were to stop and actually objectively look at what feminism is doing for them, it's extorting them.
Oh yeah, they're miserable.
They're miserable. I mean,
They are
female
miserable.
unhappiness is like,
Isn't that so funny? They're like legitimately so fucking miserable. You never see like a happy feminist. You never see like a parade of like happy feminine women. Like there was like, "Rah!" Like literally, where have you seen happy feminists? Like obviously some exist, but like these militant types, and like, sorry ladies, but feminism just has a bad global rap. Yeah, they have governments like sanctioning people not to say it's bad. That's how fucking bad it is.
literally, our female happiness is
Who might watch it? Just bling bling, baby.
consistently dropping since like
Oh.
the 1970s. And I mean, I ironically laugh at it. I'm just like, well, you wanted equality, here it is,
Yeah, I think they're unhappy because they're being told to live a promiscuous life, that's somehow going to lead to happiness, and women by nature aren't programmed for that. Like
No.
we're just not.
No.
We're not. I don't know a single woman that went through a stage of life like that, and if they're being honest with themselves, not one of them was happy. They'll
Yep.
always say, "Oh, I was hurt. I was, feeling horrible about myself.
Yes.
I wasn't getting the respect that I felt that I wanted. I wasn't bonding with that guy. I felt cheap at the end." You hear it all the time. People who are actually able to have an honest assessment of what that meant for them. And it comes down to, I think, a reality that feminism has taught women that men and women need to be the same.
Right.
You can't, because by virtue of saying men are men and women are women, you have to, acknowledge that men have certain strengths that women don't have.
Yeah.
And women can do certain things like have babies that men can't do. And underlying all of that, I think, for them was the implication that women were the weaker sex. They felt like an admission that men and women were different would be an admission that women were weaker. And I always say, well, it depends. If you're trying to compete with a man and you're trying to go into the gym and lift like a man, yeah, you're going to be weaker.
Right.
But if you're going to be, if you're looking at aspects of femininity, being feminine and being nurturing, being a mom and bearing a child, well, that's where your strength lies.
Right.
So it's interesting. So do you feel that in Japan, like, how do you feel about guys who are saying now that they don't feel that they can find a feminine woman with traditional values in the US, and they're just they're looking everywhere but the US. Is that a wise decision in your view?
So I don't think like it's just a blanket statement like go to X country and
Yeah.
then you're gonna have the most awesome woman, because there are shitty women in Japan. There are shitty women across the world, right? But you have to understand like what you're looking for. And this is why I talk about in like Money Muscles Game Frame, the game component, right? Game helps you identify which is a good woman for a long-term relationship and which is not a good woman for a long-term relationship. Because the majority of guys, they just want one woman. The majority of guys don't want to like sleep with a bunch of women. That's actually a pretty small percentage of guys.
Is that true?
Yeah, for sure. That
Okay.
I coach a lot of guys, and the majority of guys just like, hey, I just want a decent woman I can go home with. She like take care of me, cook, clean, do the traditional stuff around the house, right? He's gonna do the traditional stuff. He's gonna take
These girls, they think like, maintaining a household for the man you love is like oppression. Like lo, how the mighty have fallen. Yes, I am oppressing you with that dishwasher. Like you have to go like this. You have to pick up the dish from one unit and put it into the other unit. Oh my God. How long does that take you? 10 minutes? 1, 2. If 10 minutes, if you're a fucking retard, put a little tide in there. Push the button. Oh my God. My 10 minutes of back-breaking labor. I am so oppressed. I mean, bitch, even if you had to fucking wash those things by hand, I have to wash my dishes by hand in Japan. Can you believe this peasantry? Because the dishwashers are just not as common of a thing here. Neither are ovens. Do you not have no oven? No oven, no dishwasher. Still made $1 million business. Get on my level, ho. Can't fucking know. The dishes are oppressing me. Shut up. Shut up. Jesus Christ. And if you're a guy and your house is dirty, you shut up too and clean your house. Okay. Oppressed by keeping your house clean. Good Lord.
take out the trash. He's gonna go get the leaves out of the gutter. He's gonna do the lawn work, right?
Yeah.
But again, what do you have? You hear people saying like, "Well, I'm not your mother." This guy wants a mother, and the bottom line is, it's sad to say, but it's a nation of broken women raising broken women, because you're having this chain of divorce. Because what it does is it conditions the children to be raised in this single mindset. The women don't know; they don't have a good reference point of mother and father interacting in a positive manner. They have a negative stigma.
And the relationship, they don't grow up seeing a man and woman work together, and that's huge. People think that's like not the cause, but I'm telling you, I am like 3 to 5 years ahead of everybody on the internet. I know it's a bold statement, but bear with me when I say this. I'm telling you, it's the broken raising the broken. And how do I know? I had to deal with that because I was only operating in the way a single man would operate, because I was raised by a single mom. And I had to learn and cultivate relationship skills. I had to do that, just like people have to do that. You see, the hookup thing, pump and dump, that's easy. Anybody can do that. And it's low value women that are usually participating that kind of lifestyle. So when you're out there, you're just hooking up with a bunch of slags, right? And it's fine, pump and dump, because they're gonna go get pumped and dumped anyway. So you got to get your experience, have your fun. You'll meet some good girls along the way, but the majority of them are engaging in that, and that's not conducive to a long-term mating strategy, relationship strategy, and happiness strategy, in my opinion. And so many men are chasing after that, but I'm telling you, it's empty. Hey, get out of your system, get out, do what you gotta do. But I mean, at the end of the day, most people are gonna want relationships, and you need to be cultivating your relationship skills. Okay.
Yep.
Add in the media, add in the music. I mean, terrible songs like Wet Ass Pussy and stuff like this.
Terrible.
Telling them, yeah, you're gonna be so sexually liberated by putting yourself out there and getting used and abused and thrown away by a bunch of men. That's how you're gonna empower yourself. This is the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my entire life. But they're eating it up hook, line, and sinker. So
that was like an authentic me moment. That's the dumbest shit ever. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it was a conservative show. It was good. Let me continue.
You have this kind of situation right now where I don't know. I think I think the smart people are going to rise above, and I think the dumb people are going to suffer. But I mean, the way the system's set up right now in America, divorce laws are changing, right? I think we had the lead attorney on Sawscast the other day.
Yeah, I'm thinking about
about
having him on too. Some folks folks in the chat. By the way, we're going to get to the chat in 1 second, Angel. But folks in the chat, do you want to hear from the lead attorney? Put it in there and let me see.
She's
I'll
so
check
good.
it later. I'm curious. I let them sometimes decide who I bring on here because audience isn't
Professional.
The audience, yeah. But the laws are changing,
Yeah.
right? And I think people are kind of seeing the writing on the wall, like shitholes like California,
right,
Oregon,
in many respects,
Washington, New York, like the divorce laws there, the custody laws, alimony. It's just like blatantly archaic, saying like, oh, this woman is so weak and dumb, she can't provide for herself, so we need to pay her alimony.
Which isn't that an interesting argument, though? I find that the double speak on that.
Right.
This woman is needy. She can't provide for herself. You have to take care of her. But in the same breath, this is an empowered woman.
Right.
She doesn't need a man. Feminism all the way.
I'm going to speed it up just a little bit. You let me know if it's too much. 1.25. Let's just slight speed up.
Girl power. I'm like, which is it?
Well, women love to lie to themselves.
That's true.
They love to lie to themselves.
That is true.
And they'll take whatever they can get advantage-wise. And honestly, to be honest, I don't know if guys would be any better if we could go out there and like women were the breadwinners and like we could just divorce them and go fuck other women and like, make a ton of money and have them finance our debauchery.
Well, what's interesting to me about it is that according to the media, the system is against women. The system is stacked against women. And I sit here every day and I'm like scratching my head about this. I'm like, well, how so exactly, honey? I say, because, the media is on your side. I mean, the cable news, the magazines, all of it. So how is the system, the divorce laws, how is the system stacked against you exactly? And immediately, they'll come back and they'll say, and just Pearlie was on the other day and she said, well, they'll say, well, men can sleep around. And I'm like, honey, you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like you've equalized that playing field and now you're miserable about it. But
clearly,
I just don't understand how anybody in this day and age can blame the patriarchy when, where is it? I mean, do you see a patriarchy in the United States? I have to search high and low, and I'm just not seeing it.
Well, I mean, because
okay, the streets.
She belongs to the streets.
$5 super chat. What about girls that grew up in a nuclear family and then have friends diminish them into the feminist mindset? Also, you thank you for the call in. You're very welcome. No, let me tell you something. That's a problem, bro. Listen, when a girl has hoe friends, bro, everybody's in trouble. Nobody's getting out of that one happy because hoes. Listen, here's a dark truth about females. Okay, when hoes are around a girl that they know hasn't had a lot of sexual experience, sometimes these hoe friends will like push that girl to go hook up with guys, so the girls won't feel like so high body count around the one that's fresh. I've seen it happen. I've seen it happen around the globe. That is a form of female bullying they get involved in. So, they talk about it too. Like, I think if you're married to a woman and her friend gets a divorce, your chance of getting a divorce goes up 30-something%. If it's a friend of a friend, it's 25. So that's why you got to protect your relationship, guys. You do. People always say like, oh no, we just have to like both fucking like live our best individual lives and hope it works out for the best. Like, no, if there's a threat and you recognize it, you have to address it. Just the same way if you know there's a threat to your family, because that relationship with your woman is a first step towards potentially building a family. So it's up to you as a man to be the steward of the relationship. And if you notice a problem, you need to address that shit. People say, oh, that's just controlling. No, you fucking don't know what you're talking about. And you breathe out of your mouth.
College campuses have turned into indoctrination stations, really. It's no longer about getting educated. It's about getting indoctrinated. And this is where all this cancer is coming from. Like, I have a young man who is in my coaching community, 18 years old. He's going to school to become a computer science engineer, right? And he showed me his curriculum, and they're telling me I'm bad because I'm white.
Oh, yes.
And it's just
and
like,
male.
Yeah.
Forget it.
And he's like, I'm from Lithuania. Like, I'm not even American,
right.
But it's insane. And it's happening in these college campuses. And so there seems to be some kind of root force like pushing this. I don't know if it's the lizard people or whatever conspiracy theory.
Well, I mean, we do a lot of work on the World Economic Forum here and Klaus a lot Schwab, of work on Klaus Schwab. And these people have a deep financial and otherwise investment in men and women not forming a union,
Right.
and them being less attracted to each other and not building a family and
Right.
not building that stability
Right.
and being unhealthy and being depressed. So the reason I always tie that in is because I'm like, look, that society is breaking down. You need to wake up and not be part of that and
Right.
make a different choice and
Yes.
understand that there are people that have a financial interest in you collapsing.
Right.
You know, part of that collapse is the breakdown of the family. We also did a segment. I covered, you know, the you want to talk about a real pandemic, the pandemic of fatherlessness that
Right.
these kids are experiencing.
Right.
So many boys growing up, and there's no male figure in that
Yeah.
home.
And that was me growing up. You know,
Okay.
no father. My father left when I was young, and then he died when I was 15, and I never met him. So
how did you overcome that? Because it is you know, a concern for a child that grows up in that. You know, how do they make up for that loss?
it's hard. It's really, really hard. And that's why I started what I do with the Masculine Empowerment Network,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's how the core 4 components kind of came to light, because the consistent problems were, I don't have money because I don't know where to go get a job and where to do something with my life. I'm fat because I've been following the fucking food pyramid. I don't have a girlfriend because I've been following the simp programming. And then I have no self-esteem because I was raised without a father and I wasn't taught how to backbone, right? So you have all these things that I realized that it took me years and years and years to figure this stuff out. But finally I was able to, sum it up in the core 4 money, muscles, game, frame. So, I mean, for the average guy, it's hard. These guys are hurting. Like when I do my, I do group coaching sessions on Zoom, right?
Oh.
And it's like kind of a running joke between the leaders in the group, and like, well, how soon in are one of these guys going to break down and cry? Because these guys are suffering behind the scenes, but they don't let anybody know because they do have masculine pride. But these dudes are truly suffering behind the scenes, and so that's why I've been doing what I'm doing. Like again, I don't do it for the clout, I don't do it for the fame, none of this nonsense. I do it because these guys need help, and I sincerely care, and I really want to do that to help as many men as possible. And then going back to wanting to break up the family, right? That is so important, because the man is the head of the household.
That's right.
The man is the head of the family, right? And you're married, you have one child?
I have one child.
Right. And so that's a pretty strong family bond you have, right? If I were to offer you $5 million for your child, you would say no.
No amount of money.
Right. Exactly.
No way.
And you see, that's what Klaus Schwab, the World Economic Forum, the elites, that's what they hate. Because when two people come together, right? Because if you're rich, you're famous, you have an alliance, but this guy's with you because you have this much money, this guy's with you because you have that much money, you could buy them the other way. I couldn't give you $5 million to get rid of your son.
Or my husband, for that matter.
You see,
which is another point.
I love it.
There's no amount of money.
I love it.
Truthful, like that's my baby doll.
Some women would sell their husband.
Husband for sure. I think husband for sure. There are women out there that would be like, oh, well, maybe not for 5, but how about 7 or 8?
Right.
They'd be in the negotiation room on that one.
Exactly.
But there's no dollar value.
And the same thing for me. If somebody said, listen, I want you to like get rid of your brother, get rid of your sister, like there's no way, because you can't buy that family bond. Right. And they don't want that, right? So because I tell the guys this, I say, look, get into my programs, figure out your dating problems, sort them out, and then move on. I don't tell guys, I don't believe in this eternal player lifestyle that a lot of guys get caught up in, right? And then next thing you know, they're 40, they're coming up on 50, they're like, damn, I'm going to die alone. And I just don't think it's a good solution for guys just to do this endless player life. I say have fun for a little bit for sure, but ultimately get your shit together and then look to find a good woman, lock her down, and keep the government out of it as much as possible. Because
out of everything.
Because when I have see like masculinity coaches or something saying just man up and marry that chick, I don't agree with that. I don't. Protect yourself. Don't walk stupidly into any deal.
Right.
And when you get into a relationship with a woman and then you involve the government, it's a bad deal for the man by default. So you got to play your cards smart. The laws are better outside. Like in Japan, for example. There's no divorce, there's no alimony during COVID, right? Or excuse me, there's no alimony, there's no child support. There is divorce, but it's very, very real. Actually, during COVID, divorce went down in Japan. In America, it went up. And in Japan, if you catch your spouse cheating, you can sue them for $10,000 and the person that they're cheating with, man
and
or
the
woman.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, the side piece.
Accountability.
There you go. I'm going to do one more. And actually, you know what? Do we have super chats? Oh, we have a lot. Angel's like, oh man.
My
all
boys
right,
are here.
let's go into the super chat first, and then I'm going to get into body count. Oh yeah. Okay.
All right, no problem. Shout out to Billy Hung. He said,
That's Angel. This guy's really cool.
I'm grateful that Jonathan is becoming more recognized. He is a wonderful man. He's taught me so much through his YouTube channel and through his coaching programs. Hope you two have a great discussion.
Yeah.
All right. Next, shout out to Bunny. She said, Jed, thank you for being a cool light in my little endeavor on.
All right, let me skip these super chats. Let's go back to the meat of the show.
Oh, no, take that title off me. I don't want it. So let's talk about body count. I happened to flip on. I wanted to hear some of what you were saying on Sauce as well. So I happened to go right at the time when you were talking about virgins and body count and all that.
Yesterday. I caught some heat for that.
Well, I couldn't believe Adam was saying, I'm going to have to take beef up with my friend Adam. But he was like, oh, I wouldn't want a virgin. And I'm sitting at home thinking, why not as a dude? Like I couldn't, I couldn't fathom that. But I want to talk to you about the body count and the whole virgin debate. Why do you think women have such a hard time understanding that their body count, if it's high, is just going to be negatively viewed by a guy? Why can't they process and internalize that reality?
I think they do understand.
They do.
I think instinctively they know, like, that's why across the globe, they all lie about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they inherently know.
Why don't they change their behavior then?
Because there's been no consequence.
Because they're not happy, right?
No.
It's like, okay, you're not happy. You know this is not making you more appealing to a guy. Why are you doing it then?
I mean, I think it's like engaging in consistent casual sex is like, it's like using drugs. Like it's fun, it's good in the moment, but then the repercussions come later. You know what I mean?
It's not fun for a lot of girls though. I'm telling you, even in the moment, because women, like if you're not pairing emotion with that and you don't feel safe in that, it's not fun for us.
There's a lot of damaged girls out there though. You know, there's a lot of them engaging in a lot of these bad behaviors. But I can just tell you, like, guys are just absolutely like,
go make an account on Seeking Arrangement and go talk to those girls who are signed up for fucking these sugar daddy websites where they're out there looking for a man. It's like basically like it's like one step away from prostitution. Go talk to those chicks. You'll find a sea of damaged women. Sad, but they're available for a price.
we are biologically repulsed by it. Some dudes will be like, oh, it's okay, it doesn't matter.
Can you explain that? Because what happens is folks on the other side will say, oh, those are just insecure guys.
Right.
Those are guys who just can't handle that, you know, you've had your
guys, go ahead and smash the like 260 likes. Get those likes up, please. Por favor.
A lot of these bad behaviors. But I can just tell you, like, guys are just absolutely like, we are biologically repulsed by it. Some dudes will be like, oh, it's okay, it doesn't matter.
Can you explain that? Because what happens is folks on the other side will say, oh, those are just insecure guys.
Right.
Those are guys who just can't handle that, you know, you've had your right. You had your pick of the litter. And my argument, but I'm saying it, I'm not a man, but my argument is like, no, it's just nasty, A, and B, they don't want to think about the fact that you A don't have enough self-respect to be particular about who you share your body with. B, you may wind up bearing their child one day and now he's going to look back and know that you were like open like 7-Eleven all night. Not cute. So I think it's, and guys are visual. They don't want to visualize that you've been with all these men. There's a nastiness to it.
Yeah.
So is there an insecurity component though, you think, that guys will feel like, oh, she's too hot on the market. She's going to stray. Is that part of it?
I think it's not, I mean, in our modern culture, like anytime a man has a preference, they're just like, oh, he's just insecure.
Right.
And it's like, no, I have a fucking backbone. Like I have things that I want. And I see a lot of girls, like all the girls yesterday got triggered when I started talking about body count, you know?
Those numbers must have been sky
high. I mean, you know?
I'm not going to say they were,
you know?
but I'm not going to say they weren't. What would happen if we put those body counts on their forehead like Tate said? I would have loved to see that room. See, imagine you could just have women sitting there, hot minute, and I hit a button and the number just pops up in neon.
I'm telling you, that app is coming. That technology is coming.
Oh, let's do it. Maybe I can pitch that to PBD. That would be great.
But yeah, like the body count, the thing is like, it just adds a lot of, how can I say, like, we just are very unsure of her choice making. You know what I mean? And like, just biologically speaking, I don't know, I'm just repulsed by it. And most men are. It's like men across the globe.
It just is.
It's not like just like a conspiracy, like we're all meeting behind the scenes, like, okay, like, you know, these girls are hoes.
How high is too high? Is there a number where you're like, oh?
Okay, so then I just put a poll in the chat as well. If you want to take a look at it, there's a poll in chat right now. Take a look at your device, your phone, your iPad, your computer. At what body count does a woman become a 304? Okay, we have 5+, 10+, 15+, and 20+. Gonna leave that up there for you guys to vote. We got about 59 votes, so 62 now. So 5+ is 36%, 10+ is 51%. And then 15+ is 7%, and then 20+ is 6%, 5% now. So you get those votes in. Let's continue on here.
Ooh, that is like, you would, if a guy came to you for coaching and was like, my girlfriend is 25, has a body count of, is there a number where you'd be like, listen, I'm gonna be honest with you, that's high?
Well, I mean, honestly, I think anything north of 10 is just like, it's just like, what have you been doing? Where did your father,
at any age, by the way,
did your dad not hold you when you were little? Like what happened, you know? But the thing is,
yeah,
I mean,
seriously,
a lot of women get
like Courtney Ryan says in her videos, like, are we okay? Or is everything okay here? Seriously, I don't get it. Like, I don't know, man. That is just, I do not get it. It's like, it really is just not appealing to me at all. I'm sorry to any females out there watching that may have a high body count and be feeling a certain type of way right now. But listen, men have, just like how women don't want to date a short, bald guy who lives at home with his mama, you're like biologically repulsed by that. It's the same thing for how guys feel about girls with high body count. we will fuck you, but to love you and have a relationship with you is very, very emotionally taxing. It's not ideal. I mean, like I said, the Virgin Bride has been celebrated across all civilizations since the dawn of civilization. We're not any different from the beginning.
Triggered by this, but yeah, like women need to understand that men have standards too, and you need to respect that if you want to engage in a relationship with a man, right? We are human too. We have desires, just like women are repulsed by a guy that has no job.
Right.
If he lives at home with his mom, they're like, oh, I'm repulsed by that. A guy looks at one, she's like, well, I've been with 70 dudes. You're like, oof, well, I'm gonna go to the doctor. Like,
yeah. And by the way, it's flipped in the sense that, if a woman hears that a guy's, slept with a lot of people, she just doesn't care. She just doesn't. You ask them all the time and they don't.
Yeah.
But if a guy heard about a woman and she lived at home with her parents, he would be like, oh, okay. That wouldn't be a complete turnoff for him. That wouldn't be like if she worked at McDonald's, he'd be like, okay, cool. You're a great person. You're really nice. So this is, again, at the underpinning of this is a refusal to accept that men and women are different. And because women don't care about a man's high body count, now they want to put that on guys and say, well, we don't care, so you shouldn't care. And I'm like, honey, you're not a man. They're looking at different things. They prioritize different.
Bobby Shane, this is hilarious. Says, in my opinion, if the relationship fails, don't only blame her. It takes two people to mess up a relationship. Blame her and her mother. True. You have been. Hey, this guy has been through it. With a comment like that, he has been through it. Good. Hey. Respect to you, Bobby. Go put your feet up after dealing with that kind of headache.
Things.
Right.
It's wild.
Yeah.
But now the virgin conversation is interesting to me, though. Is there any part? So I don't know. Would you marry a virgin?
Yeah, why not?
Okay, so this is what gets told to me. This is the pushback that I hear from guys that say, "Oh, I've never want to marry a virgin," because they feel that woman is going to have to sell her oats at some point. Like she's going to be with you,
No,
and then she's going to have to go through the phase of
No.
the experimentation.
No, it's retarded. Like, no, like women are not inherently whores. Like, they don't want to go out there and do this. I know a girl that's like a 36-year-old virgin, right? She's just waiting.
Religious, or because sometimes that's a
religion absolutely has a component to do with it, for sure. I don't think she's religious, but I think she's like a casual Christian.
Okay,
you know what I mean? But going back to like the whole body count thing, the data just shows it too. Like marriage statistics, right? The more partners a woman's been with, the more likely she's going to have a divorce, the more likely she's going to cheat, and the more likely she's going to be unhappy in that relationship. So the data is just clear as day. While they're engaging it, I mean, it's the same reason like sometimes people are like, I'm just going to eat McDonald's. I know it's bad for me, like whatever.
Yeah.
They're not really thinking long term. But the whole thing though with the body count is it's just not okay. You could make it work depending on the person, but you have to be like really mature and like sit down and like really cope hard with it. But the ideal is guys don't want to deal with it.
I always tell guys, if you found yourself a really good woman, a high quality.
Thank you, R. Coleman. MLD, I know your show is for men, although many women are interested in the information you bring to the table. Thoroughly enjoy the show and respect your opinions. And thank you. And I remember the other day, I do read everything. I try to keep as much tabs on the community as possible. I do remember the other day you did send me a $9.99 super chat. Thank you very much, R. Coleman. And then thank you now for the $10 super chat you sent today as well. Yeah, listen, like I said, my message is for the boys, but if the ladies listened, it wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt. I'm making sense over here. Telling these guys to get their act together and then, avoid the girls that are not up to par for a quality man. And if you're doing what I say, you're a quality man, because majority of guys are not focused on money, muscles, game, frame. They're floundering their way through life. Not me. Not me and my dog, and not me and Anime Jesus. We're the unstoppable team. Me, my dog, and Anime Jesus. And then you there at home. We got this.
Woman, and you're still worried that she's going to need to sow her oats. You're not sure about that woman, because I never had that chip.
Yeah, exactly.
I never had it. Like
exactly.
it just was not in me to be promiscuous.
Right.
I couldn't do it. Like even mentally, when I would try to look around and be like, well, all my friends are doing it. Why can't I? Could not do it.
Yeah.
So there are women out there that could absolutely marry the first person that they have sex with and never need to sow those oats. So I always say, if you're wondering about that, maybe you don't have the woman that you think you have.
There's no data supporting that a woman must go through this hoe phase. That's an exclusively American thing. But another thing is this too. When a woman has hoe friends and the hoe friends find out that the woman is pure, those hoe friends are insecure about her, and they're going to be like, no, you go out there, sleep with this guy. Like,
oh yes, I lived through that as well.
Boom, baby. Look at that. Immediately she was just like, yep, I've seen that. I'm telling you, these girls, listen, when these hoe friends find out a girl in their little social circle, if she, and let alone if she's really young, cute, and not a hoe, oh, they all hate her. They all hate her. Believe me, the female strife is real, boys. Females are haters. They hate on each other. Listen, the amount of shit that listen, all the girls that I date, right? Every single girl that I've ever dated in my life, they always at some point talk shit about their girlfriends, their female friends, and I'm just like, it's funny. It's funny.
I lived there. It's interesting. I grew up in
Can you
New York
elaborate on
City.
that? Because guys, people think I make that up.
No. I grew up in New York City, and I was a good girl. I was raised like that. My parents were very like, your body is your temple.
Right.
I just didn't want to be. I didn't want to have sex without emotion. That was not something that I was interested in at all. I remember a period in my early 20s. I was actually working. I went, got my master's. I loved education. I thought I wanted to be a college professor for a while. So I was like, oh, this is cool. I'll have a super flexible schedule. I'll have like a lot of downtime, which was really a priority for me, honestly, always. I decided to leave that, and I worked in the bar scene for a while, which is interesting because I don't.
You see, now, this is no disrespect to Jed, but you see how even Jed just said, my downtime was my top priority.
Shut up and take my money.
That's why men make more in the corporate world. They work more hours. They work more hours. They work way more higher psychotic hours than females do. Women take more sick days. They take more vacation days, and that's fine because that's women and that's your preference. But if you want to get to the fucking top, sick days, vacations, listen, I literally worked myself to the fucking bone to get where I am here, right? And I am, top 1%, beyond 1% earner. That being said, just a little lesson for you there. And it's just she was a priority. She just wanted some downtime, more downtime. I think we got a super chat. Is that Eric? I think that's Eric's photo. Bingo, that is. Visa status. Unknown yet, sir. Also, who got the free month coaching? I will follow up with you on that because I'm gonna put it towards March. But Eric here has donated a 1 month coaching session to somebody. So you have to reach out to me on Instagram. Hot Dude Life. Send me a DM and tell me why you deserve this. You're in for a good one here, Mr. Eric. Check it out.
Don't drink.
Wow.
And I'm not promiscuous.
What did you do?
I was a cocktail waitress.
Wow.
And I was not in the scene.
Yep. Mods, go ahead and put the link in the chat for me. There's a coaching session. There absolutely is. It's every Sunday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Go to modernlifedating.com/coaching, and then you can go there and see it on my website. There are there are 2 coaching options, one-on-one, and then also regular coaching. Let me see if I can pull it up on the screen for you. Coaching, group coaching. Okay, here we go. Is this gonna? I don't know. Did that work? Nope. Oh shucks. Let's just do here. There it is. Go to modernlifedating.com/monthly and then just click on this button right here. And then we'll get you in the Telegram chat with unlimited text coaching and then video coaching Sundays, 9 p.m. Eastern. Let's go back to me and Jedediah. My dog's being super needy this morning. She's all over me. You're right there, pal.
And I had friends that were very much in the scene, very kind of like living that early 20s. Oh, I'm going to sleep with this guy, that guy, having fun with it. And I got so much pressure. Like, what's wrong with you? Like, you need to be living. Now's the time, all of that. And every time I would even say, well, maybe they're right. I would go to do it and I couldn't, it just wasn't in me. It felt so unnatural that I was like, this is not for me. I'm not doing it. I'm not. But there is a ton of pressure. And that's why I always said, I did a red flag show the other day. And I said, if you're with a girl and she's got a ton of single female friends that are out there, girls night out, slappy, all that, it's going to be a problem.
It's trashy.
Dude, straight up. Jed is 1,000% on point. Well, please tell me the ROI of having hurt your girl having hoe friends. Please, somebody enlighten me.
I mean, I'm sorry. Like they were telling me yesterday, one of the girls was outing herself as a hoe. And she was saying like, so you're going to date a girl that's 18. She's like, how are you going to take her to the bar and go drinking? I'm like, I don't date women that drink like that.
Yeah.
I don't look at a girl and be like, oh wait, so you can't drink. All right. Well, I got to cancel this whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
I personally believe that a woman who drinks, I just can't do it. like I'm the degenerate in the relationship. So,
Yeah.
so she needs to take care of me and my degeneracy. And I'm just saying, like, I go out and drink once in a while, right?
Yeah.
I don't drink at home. I never do. My vice is Domino's, right? So
It's not a bad vice, honestly.
I don't drink.
My
at
vice
home.
is beef jerky. Just saying,
That's not even
breastfed.
that's not even a vice.
That's as bad as it gets. So yeah.
But yeah,
I
like the whole argument of like, she needs to drink, she needs to be part of this
No.
drinking culture, and it's like, what? Literally, break it down. What is the positive ROI of your woman consuming alcohol in the relationship? Or going to a bar and having girls' night out. Everybody knows when you drink, bad shit usually happens. You wake up, you're like, oh God, how much money did I spend? Oh God, like, what did I do last night? Why am I on the
always
sofa?
some type of regret that comes into play. Yeah, I wasn't, it's funny with the drinking too. I could never stand the taste of alcohol. And I would like force myself sometimes, even in like the college days or post college, to have like that sip of this or that sip of that, but it just wasn't. And I would look around and I'd be like, wow, these girls are just losing their minds, man. It's just, and I actually got a lot of heat at one point. I left college. I'm very open with the audience about my life. I wound up when I left college, I had only, had one boyfriend at that time. I didn't have I didn't do any of that when I was young. One boyfriend, which is like, I'm like a relic now. People are like, what were you doing? Oh, you missed out.
I respect that.
But he was away. Like we had, for a period of time, there was long distance and it was a little bit rocky, like, because I was not designed for long distance. And I remember my friends being like, oh, just go out. And that entire year, I didn't hook up with anybody. I was no way. And I always
Thank
said,
you very much, Fan I Am. $10 from Australia. YouTube won't accept my super chat, so I'll post it in the chat anyway. What is this? Lady is a 304 if she uses her sexuality for money, attention, and favors. She doesn't necessarily need to sleep with someone. So thanks to internet, even some virgins could be considered a 304. Interesting general take on it all. A woman is a 304 if she uses her sexuality, money, and attention for money, attention, and favors. I for me personally, I draw the line at sex. When she's like sleeping with a bunch of people, if she's like, just finessing dudes, I kind of like, to an extent, I kind of respect her, especially if she's finessing them and not sleeping with them. That's kind of sexy for me, to be honest. But if she's sleeping with them, or then that's like, or if she's just hoeing around with other set of dudes, just hoeing around in general, just for me, it's just a big no. I can't. I have too much dignity. I'm sorry. I fucking no. There's people like me that exist. I have dignity, and no, I just can't do it. Apologize for nothing. I'm absolutely sorry for nothing. Get away from me.
Hey, if you've got tunnel vision for a man, you're not looking to do this and that. Like, it doesn't work like that. And that's why when you brought up my husband, I was like, there's no amount of money. I mean, my husband is like, I got a diamond. I'm not messing with that. Like, there's no doing better
That's
than what
beautiful.
I got.
I love it. I love it. I mean, I think, this is not to like brown nose you either, but I think like you're a really good role model for women, because the average role model for women nowadays are like literal whores. Like,
yep. R. Coleman says Jedediah has been a good ladies role model. I said that on the show. Literally just said it. She is a good role model. I think Jed is a good role model. I like Jed. I really do. And she's not fake for the camera either. Like, we text back and forth, and she did. We're probably going to talk about, because Jed, she followed up with me, and she did a show, covering bangs and the whole whatever podcast. And she was like, she's like, Mr. MLD, you shouldn't have said the B word. And you know what? In hindsight, she was right. But it was just a gut reaction. I was just like, who does this bitch think she is? Like, it was just straight out of my stomach, no filter, Yeah. If you have to call yourself a good girl, it's suspicious. I love it. That's so funny.
Kim Kardashian, like,
oh, yeah.
literally a whore from her sex tape. Yeah. Nicki Minaj, Nicki Minaj not light with Cardi B. Like, you have chicks that are like literally spreading sexual degeneracy, and guys just like, oh, well, this is great for me, but those guys work at 7-Eleven. Like quality dudes. Because if you look at the upper echelon of society, I think 5 out of 6 millionaires are married. You know what I mean? These men understand that they want a good woman that can hold them down. Because men and women are supposed to be together, right? And what's all this? I've achieved high levels of success myself, right? And this success, it kind of feels empty if you don't have someone to share it with. You know what I mean? Especially somebody you love. Men and women are supposed to be together. We're not supposed to be at each other's necks.
That's right.
And I think that it's really important for men and women both to like realize this and come together.
Yep, I agree. I'm going to get to the chat in a second. I'm going to do Rolo's tweet first. So we're going to respond to, I pulled some stuff off Twitter that I thought would be interesting that you might have an opinion on, which I know you'll have an opinion on. Do you know Rolo?
Rolo is a great friend of mine, and he's a big reason why I'm here.
Yeah. Rolo's, it was funny. He came on the show the first time, and I was like new to this space.
Okay.
Triggered.
Were you triggered?
No joke.
About what?
Dude, I was triggered by Andrew Tate talking about female self-defense. Oh, you got to go back. I did a takedown of myself, actually. I did a
Wow.
takedown of myself because I was like, wow, just to.
She came to the light. Praise the Lord. I didn't know she was triggered. That's funny. Well, I'm glad she likes me now because
Shut up and take my money.
she did not want to go toe to toe. I'm just an animal. Fan, I am $5. So if your girl is still posting saucy pics or content online for attention or money, but only sleeping with you, is that acceptable? Yeah. To be honest, for me, I would be like, babe, I could probably 10x your business. Let's make a deal. That's what I would do personally. Me, if I met a hot girl who was not a hoe and she was running her own OnlyFans, bro, easily could 10x her business. Are you kidding me? My digital marketing skills, I made $1 million+ on hard mode. If I'm selling vagina, which that's what OnlyFans is, you're just selling it digitally, not like actually. That is the easiest product in the world to sell. Kidding me? Hell yeah. Good Lord. That would be easy road. Kidding me? So much more money. But I wouldn't take her seriously. No. For fun? Now for fun? Casually? Yeah. Make a little money in the meantime. I would bang her on camera and tell you guys to sign up. Oh boy. I got no qualms about that, my friends. How much time we got? I have to go at the top of the hour, just 28 minutes.
Shut up and take my money.
We have this. It's on 1.25 speed. We got a super chat because I got to go. My personal training session's at 2 p.m. Tokyo. It's 12:30. I think I could say I could make it happen until 1:30, but I have to go. I have to step in the other room and change. That's how dedicated I am. Extra guac, $10 super chat. Prayers for the visa. Thank you so much. Love you. Let's go back to the show.
Realize the amount of internalized nonsense that even I, someone again, pro-life, stood up for men my whole life, want my guy, love masculinity,
Right.
I still had some of that in me. Where I
Female
was like,
self-defense is kind of a joke, though.
totally. Are you kidding me? Please. It's like, my husband was like embarrassed when I did that. He's like, honey. And then I sat down and I actually had to sit and talk with him and like we discussed it. And I was like, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. I got to go back. And he's like, do a takedown of yourself. I was like, yeah, I'm going to. I felt so strongly about what an idiot I had been that I wanted the audience to see it. So that we did that. But Rollo has come back since. We've had great discussions. He had a tweet up. Do you have that tweet, Angel, to pull up? Okay, so this is the picture. I'm tired of being looked at as a set of holes, and Rollo puts it on top of it. You can start by putting your clothes on.
Yeah.
So this is interesting to me because women oftentimes will demand respect just because.
Yeah.
They don't feel that they have to earn it in any way. They feel they can walk around half naked, and somehow if a guy makes a judgment about them as a result of the way they're carrying themselves and what they're wearing at all, if a guy says, "Oh, that looks like somebody who might be willing to have a one-night stand," they're offended in some way. Why is there no responsibility on women for their own behavior and actions in this society?
Oh, because they're the victims. They're the ones that are being extorted. They're the ones that the companies want to take money from. They're the ones that the politicians want votes for, So they tell them what they think they want to hear. And then next thing you know, they're following this terrible advice. And then they end up fat, single, lonely. Look at the body positivity movement, right? Like you're in fantastic shape, right? There are women who are like, well, I've had kids and I'm in my 40s and I'm in my 50s. So I'm allowed to weigh 200 pounds.
I'm 43 and I had a baby. He's 3. So there's no excuses. You know what I'm saying? But I work, I eat right. I do exercise. Thank you for saying.
And she did mention though, because she like says she got super lucky with her lifestyle to let alone get pregnant at 40 and have a healthy baby, and you're okay as an individual. But she's a very healthy woman. She's very tiny. She's very fit. She goes to the gym. She was actually asking me about the Oura Ring too in the DMs when I posted it. She was like, "I got to get me one of those. What is that?" And I was just like, "Dude, it's the shit." She's very, very above average individual in regards to her maintaining her health too. Very lucky. She even says it.
Saying that, but for me, it's not about truthfully like, oh, the visual. I'm married, I got my husband, but it is also for me. It's about like I want to be here for this child as long as possible. It's my responsibility. My job as a mom is to like be here for my husband, be here, be strong, be healthy. I also don't want to be a victim of the big pharma scheme.
Yeah.
So there's that. But also I do think, truthfully, I'll get heat for this, of course, but I think as a woman, a guy falls in love with you and say you weigh, I don't know, 130 pounds and whatever it may be. If you balloon to 250, that guy's not allowed to say something. I mean, honestly, like, I'm sorry, but like, he should be able to say something about that. Number one, now you're disrespecting your body. You're obviously do not care about your own longevity in this family. It's not healthy. And number two, there is a component to a relationship that is attraction. So why can't that be? I just don't understand. If a guy balloons, you can say to him, "You're fat. You better go on a diet." All your friends can laugh at him. But if it's a woman, that guy has no voice to say, "Honey, like, listen, I married you and you didn't look like this. Like, put the Krispy Kreme down."
Yeah. Like when a woman gains weight, like 30, 40 pounds, that's the equivalent of a man losing his job in a relationship.
Yeah.
Like, both are unacceptable. But I mean, if you ever see like the girls that they had there on the tweet there from Rolo, it's always girls that are like not that cute or a little ugly that are this big feminism component, right? These disenfranchised women. Because at the end of the day, these
Typically
girls
overweight, significantly so.
They do stay big mad. What's this guy's name? That's me on the screen there, buddy. Thank you. Your energy. Just subscribe to the channel. Pay attention. You'll learn a lot.
They just want to be loved. They just want men, and they're acting like this because they're advertising.
I'm from Pakistan, and I resonate with your message. It makes no sense what people are up to in the States. Correct.
Themselves as like hoes. Like literally, you're completely naked, and you're like, I'm tired of being looked at as a set of holes.
Okay,
like,
put some clothes on and go to the gym, honey.
You're advertising as holes. You know what I mean? So I mean, the cognitive dissonance is palpable.
Do we have chats? We're gonna get to those, and then we're gonna talk about female psychology.
Yes, we do.
Angel's like, oh yeah.
All right, let's skip these super chats.
Shout out to Beaten Cheeks. He said Jed and MLD need to get on The View, teach these
hear that a version of that story too
what
often.
Exactly?
Just women hanging out with women who are they're, say a woman is married, she's hanging out with a bunch of single friends, getting involved in this, that. Maybe those friends are divorced, going through something, and suddenly her marriage falls apart. It's very common. Actually.
No, that's actually statistically proven. Actually, if a friend of a friend has a divorce, there's a 33% chance that woman will get a divorce.
Oh, wow.
If it's a direct friend, I think it goes up to like 66%.
Wow.
Yeah, no, this is like when I find out, like, there's like, if I'm dating a girl and I find out all her friends are breaking up, I'm like, all right, like, get away from those girls, because they're going back to the streets.
Yeah.
And I think people don't seem to realize this, but who you spend time with.
Listen, when her friends start going to the streets, you know what that means. You got to protect your girl from the streets, man. Streets are cold out there. When her friends start going back to the street, it's a red flag, first of all, if her friends, if the streets call and the woman goes back to the streets. Because, some of these girls, they don't belong to the streets, bro. Some of these girls, they are the streets, mate. That's their motto right there. Streetwalker confirmed. Okay. Got to be careful out there.
Absolutely is who you become.
That's right.
Whether you want.
Kevin Lopez, yo, MLD, where did you get your suits? Looking to start dressing a bit more dapper. This was a bespoke suit, so I went and chose the material. The material is from Loro Piana, Loro Piana. Loro Piana. It is an Italian luxury brand. The material is amazing. Let me tell you something. The suit is that the shirt is Xenia, and then that tie is, I don't know where that tie's from. I'm gonna go find out. Let's play. I know it's from. Oh, it's from Brioni. It's an Italian tie. Brioni. That's where it's from.
Want to believe it or not?
No, it's 100% true. That's why I'm always like, be careful who you let into that inner circle.
No ho friends.
Yes, I am resuming the Tokyo Crypto Show with a brand new cast. I love you, MLD. I love you too, Alyssa.
2 more? Okay, quick. And then we're going to do, thank you, Angel. And then we'll do a couple more on psychology.
Yes.
They're not doing that.
Let's see.
It's too wired.
Guy.
Okay.
I have, God forbid.
Second one, Angel, on female psychology. We'll put it up so that you can see it as well. Says in quotes, Mike is such an asshole. He flirts with other girls in front of me. Why can't I find a good guy? Good guy appears. Oh, wait, Mike's calling me. Yes, babe, I'll be there in 10 minutes. So this idea that these women...
What's funny, though, is like, I don't think Jed knows, like, these masculinity rediscovered pages and shit like this. These are run by like a fucking dude in India who's just like copy and pasting red pill stuff. I don't think she knows the community that well. This is like some dude in fucking, he signed up for Hustlers University. He's like, I'm gonna be an alpha male like a Tandra Tate, motherfuckers. And he starts this shit. quality accounts is where you want to be following stuff from. You know, with stuff like Rollo puts out for sure. Definitely not Dick Pooper. Chateau Hartis puts out good stuff on Twitter. And you know, people give him shit, but Dr. Sean Smith, in my opinion, puts out good stuff. And then, yeah, you know, I hate to sound like a fucking mainstream normie, but David Buss and obviously Paul from Apex Mindset, for sure. Those are good sources. But this is not Paul. This is Kirpal in India, who is doing masculinity rediscovered, become a man again.
Say, oh, I would never, you know, I want the good guy. I want the good guy. I want the really good guy. And the good guy shows up and they're bored and they're chasing after the guy who's not giving them time.
Right.
Talk to me about that.
Well, I mean, you can't judge a woman by what she says. You got to judge her by what she does, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you have a chick that's constantly like, well, my ex is toxic and this ex is toxic and that one's ex is toxic, like, okay, you like toxic guys.
Or you're toxic.
Or that too, right?
You know?
I mean, and probably, honestly,
and what you said right there, or you're toxic, is so true. These chicks get caught in a like disaster pattern of relationship after relationship fucking up because of them, but they just go through life and they refuse to take accountability. And what did they say? Oh, well, since all my experiences have been negative, men are the problem, not themselves. Good luck, man or woman, to anybody who goes through life like that. Okay.
Root of that is probably coming from a broken household where mom and dad were fighting. If you ever do your due diligence and do your research as to why a girl is acting a certain way, always look at her family, right? Is she coming from a divorced household? Was dad there? Was he an asshole? Was he beating mom? Was he drinking? Right? And 9 times out of 10, when you have like bad behaviors in the children, it came from the parents. You know what I mean? So, I mean, this situation here, it's kind of cliche when they say like, oh, you know, like she says one thing, but she does another. But I mean, it happens all the time. And how you actually solve this is just look at her actions. Like I tell guys, if you're going to date a girl seriously, you need to vet her for at least 18 months minimum.
18 months.
Thanks to Mr. Lucario for opening my eyes in the 18-month vetting window.
Yes.
They're not doing that. Guys aren't doing that.
They
Not even
aren't.
close.
They aren't, but they should, right?
What does vetting mean? What does that process look like?
A woman could put up a good act for 6 months.
Oh, yeah.
But then, you know, there's eventually chinks
There's
in the
a leak.
armor. There's chinks in the armor. You start to see what's really happening. And then you're like, oh, so this is who you are.
So what in that period of time that you call
She likes that I know this shit. She likes that I know this shit. Most guys don't know this.
vetting, what should guys be looking for specifically?
Well, you want a woman that is just going to have your back. And that's my number one thing, because women leave relationships left and right these days.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they ghost people, they block them, they treat men like they're not humans. And that's just absolutely reprehensible behavior. Right. So I just tell a guy, like, look for a woman that's going to be understanding, look for a woman that's going to be supportive, look for a woman that when you're down and out, she's still there for you. Right. I was dating a girl for a long time. I was dating for like 4 years, and there was a point where I was like literally a loser. I was just like, I had lost my job. I had lost my business that I started. And like at one time, like we went to the beach on a weekend and she wanted to pay for like our $45 dinner. And like, I just didn't have the money. And I was just like seething internally. Like, I am such a fucking loser. And I was so embarrassed that she had to do this, but she paid it. She held me down. And like, I carried that guilt for like 2 years. And then when I finally made it big, I just like bought her whatever she wanted. But you want a woman that likes you for you. A lot of guys go for the woman that they like, but you got to go for the woman that likes you.
That likes you.
You know?
Yep. I did this the other day on here. I was talking
So
about
true.
Yes.
You motherfuckers got to stop chasing these hoes and these bitches that don't like you, but you like them. Find the woman who likes you, and that's a good bet. If you're playing the long-term game, stop feeling you need to prove your love to some fucking person out there. Like, you know, if you had a girl that you need to like convince her and prove her, bro, get out.
She belongs to the streets.
Sayonara. Go fucking be someone else's headache. I do not need to come to your fucking council of mediocrity and prove my genius to you every single day so you can feel better. I'm not doing that. You trust me. We work on this together, or see you later. Go fucking get someone else. I will figure this out, and I'll do it without you, because that's an additional headache you do not want in your life, guys. You do not want that. The minute a woman starts questioning you and doubting you and arguing combative, doesn't want to cooperate, avoid. Listen to your older brother on the internet who has done this. Listen to Papa MLD. Save yourself from that daily hell and get out. Do it now if you're in the situation. Trust me. Sorry, guys. My dog is like just keeps coming back to me this morning. She never does this. She is just needy McNeederson today.
I'm not saying don't buy nice things for your girl. I'm not saying, don't take them out to a nice dinner, but you need a girl who is going to be happy as all hell if you take her away on a trip and it's just you and her and there's nothing fancy. It has to, at the end of the day, you have to be enough.
Yes.
And you will, if a girl really likes you, you will be enough. You will notice the difference between that girl and someone who's there for the stuff.
Yeah,
Spot on.
exactly. I had a beautiful, like, half Japanese, half Brazilian girlfriend. And I remember she was just so down for me. And at the beginning of the relationship, I was like, man, what is this bitch up to? Like, 'cause I wasn't used,
Not used to it.
I wasn't used to this. It was like my first year in Japan. I was like, what's this chick's angle? And I was like, all right, like, I have time, but I only have 2 hours. And the only thing near my house is McDonald's. She's like, okay, I'll meet you there. And I was just
Yeah.
like,
Oh, no joke.
and this girl's
Yeah.
a model. Like, she showed up. She's a beautiful model. And she goes with me, and we literally ate at McDonald's. And this, like, I went home, like, rethought my life. I was just like, what did I just experience?
Yeah.
But I was at the time, I was pretty young. I was like 27. And so that was like 10 years ago. So I was looking at that from versus like my American relationships and other relationships that I've been in with women in Japan that didn't have what we like to call in the red pill space and manosphere. Like, she didn't have genuine desire for me.
Oh, Rolo
Mhm.
talks about that all the time.
Right.
Yep,
You
yep.
know, genuine desire.
Yep.
You want a woman who has genuine desire for you, not for your Ferrari, not for your
That's
house,
right.
not for your 401k, not for your Bitcoin, right? But for
Yes.
you.
It's very, when a woman is really into a guy, it's so powerful.
Yes.
I mean, it's really like, we will do and die for you. You are enough. Like, I will always say, like, a woman would rather be with a guy she's really attracted to and really into in a hut
Mhm.
than a guy she's not attracted to and not into in a palace, because that attraction is so important for a woman.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not, you can have all the money in the world. If she doesn't want to sleep with you, if she's not physically attracted to you, it's eventually there's going to be a glitch in that machine.
Yeah. And that ability to be deeply in love with your man gets eroded away the more dick she takes, the higher her body count. Like, you just fry out the receptors and they get jaded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's like the data is
that right
clear.
there. I mean, look, that's true, man. They do get jaded. Like, I'm telling you, like, the more they just go through, the more you go through anything in life, the less like special it becomes, right? But I'm telling you, that's like some of these chicks, they just get that. Like, when you see those girls on Tinder or Bumble, and they're like, no flakes, no liars, no ghosting. If you're a cheater, back off. That's a woman who's been like seriously hurt by a man. Just avoid the red flags, like I say.
Girls who sleep around, they have higher levels of depression, higher levels of anxiety, higher levels of just genuine dissatisfaction with themselves. And when you're unhappy with yourself, when you're constantly anxious, you're constantly depressed, how can you even function happily in a relationship?
Right.
Yeah.
Your personal judgment is clouded.
And they're used to a revolving door. They're
Yes.
used to that
Yes.
dynamic of like come and go
Oh.
and just like, so that becomes their norm,
Yes.
and they're not used to like actually building with someone, going through the ups and downs, providing that support.
Yeah.
It's like one foot is always out the door, particularly now, I think with
She is spot on right here. She's fucking 1000% spot on. Listen to this. This is a woman who understands relationships.
I was looking at that from versus like my American relationships and other relationships that I've been in with women in Japan that didn't have what we like to call in the red pill space and manosphere. Like, she didn't have genuine desire for me.
Oh, Rolo talks about that all the time.
Right.
Yep,
you
yep.
know, genuine desire.
Yep.
You want a woman who has genuine desire for you, not for your Ferrari, not for your
That's
house,
right.
not for your 401k, not for your Bitcoin, right? But for
Yes.
you.
It's very, when a woman is really into a guy, it's so powerful.
Yes.
I mean, it's really like, we will do and die for you. You are enough. Like, I will always say, like, a woman would rather be with a guy she's really attracted to and really into in a hut
Mhm.
than a guy she's not attracted to and not into in a palace, because that attraction is so important for a woman.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not, you can have all the money in the world. If she doesn't want to sleep with you, if she's not physically attracted to you, it's eventually there's going to be a glitch in that machine.
Yeah. And that ability to be deeply in love with your man gets eroded away the more dick she takes, the higher her body count. Like, you just fry out the receptors and they get jaded. You know what I mean? There's like the data is clear that the girls who sleep around, they have higher levels of depression, higher levels of anxiety, higher levels of just genuine dissatisfaction with themselves. And when you're unhappy with yourself, when you're constantly anxious, you're constantly depressed, how can you even function happily in a relationship?
Right.
Your personal judgment is clouded.
And they're used to a revolving door. they're
Yes.
used to that dynamic of like come and go
Oh.
and just like, so that becomes their norm,
Yes.
you know, and they're not used to like actually building with someone, going through the ups and
Mhm.
downs, providing that support.
Yeah.
It's like one foot is always out the door, particularly now, I think with social media and how like women get so much attention.
Yeah.
They
Mhm.
always feel like, oh, well, I'm happy, but happier could be right there.
Yeah.
So I'm going to just leave that door open.
Yeah.
It's a real big problem, actually, the technology. Interesting when you were talking, and I'll let you respond to this, but when you were talking also about Japan, I was thinking, I wonder like if technology and the fact that there as well, women can be on all of these channels.
You see how good she is, and she's like, she can understand that I want to respond. She's like, and I'm gonna let you respond on this, but she's clearly getting her entire point out, so I can talk and then reciprocate with the data she's seeking. This is what these animals on the whatever podcast need to. She needs to have like a train these hoes to be civil academy or something, because she is doing an amazing job here.
You know, they can be out there everywhere at one time.
Mhm.
Is that compromising, you know, the values of these individual countries and places and cultures that do actually value traditional values? You know, the girl goes on Instagram and suddenly it's like, you know, is it that much different?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think overall, if you're going to weigh out the positives and negatives of social media, I think the negatives just way out
I'm
outweigh
with
the
you.
positives, you know. But it's kind of we're in the situation right now. It is what it is. But like going back to like what I was saying with the body count and stuff, when these girls are constantly on these social media platforms, they're constantly being, you know, hit up by like,
DMs.
yeah, in the DMs, sending likes, sending comments. And with these girls, they always have one foot out the door. Like, how are you going to commit? You know what I
Mhm.
mean? A lot of these girls, you said they get conditioned into like, you know, thinking like the solution to their problems is just at the end of another new dick.
Mhm.
Like they literally think like, I'm just going to find a new guy.
Yes.
You know, and like you are in a relationship. How long you been married?
5 years in February.
And how long you guys been dating?
I want to say 8.5.
So 13 years total.
Yeah.
And,
No. 5 years married,
Okay.
and then an additional three plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
During those 8 years, I'm sure there were good times and I'm sure there were bad times, ups and downs.
I mean, every relationship, right? But
Yeah.
I mean, we truthfully like we're pretty good. But like,
Yeah.
of course, in the course of a day, like, will we see things differently sometimes? Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm trying to say, I'm not trying to paint your marriage in a
Oh
bad
yeah.
light.
No, I get it.
What I'm trying to say is like a lot of people, because we live in this TLDR generation, right? Like people don't wait 4 seconds for a website to load.
Yeah.
Instagram shorts, or Instagram reels, YouTube shorts, TikToks, right? These are all conditioning us to be wanting instant satisfaction, instant gratification, right? And people are thinking relationships are like that, and it's just not the same. Like you have to work things out, and this is for men too, because a lot of guys are like, oh, this girl doesn't act right. You know, she's next. I got to next her hard, and that's just not the solution. Now you do have to have boundaries, and you do have to have a certain level of tolerance.
Mhm.
But I feel like modern females nowadays, they have the delusion to think that they're inboxed with all those dudes.
Right.
Each guy's a perfect guy.
Right.
But that's just not the case.
And
at all.
because they're largely promiscuous, they're comfortable just being like, oh, this is done. I'm gonna hop over here. Like
Yeah.
that. I wasn't, again, like when I invested in something, it felt like really important to me because I
Right.
hadn't had that
Yes.
revolving door ever.
Right.
So it's just a different vibe. Interesting. I also, you know, it's interesting when I met my husband, he'll remember this. I remember he had there was a girl that had what he had went to college with or something, and I remember her being in a relationship
Mhm.
with someone, and they were serious, and she would go on other guys' Instagrams, hearts, like all this weird stuff, and I remember sitting him down and being like, this girl's shady, this is
Mhm.
not appropriate, it's
Mhm.
disrespectful what's going on.
Mhm.
And I see that too. I see these girls that they're in relationships. I'm like, what are you heart liking? That is, keep that for your man. Like, it's
Mhm.
nothing
Shut
sacred
up
to
and
you
take
girls
my money.
anymore. It's like, and I think that also is part of that. Like, they spread themselves thin all those years.
Yeah, big facts, man. She's dropping heat. Sovereign Monarch, $5 super chat. MLD, good day to you, sir. Love watching you in all forums, in all modes, on all topics. God bless Anime Jesus. Anime Jesus is here for us all. Don't forget to send your tithe and offerings to the Anime Jesus Fund, the manga mission here. Okay, Anime Jesus, look at him. He's looking at you now with deep shame for you not fully applying the principles of Money Muscles Game Frame. Send your donations to Anime Jesus today.
This, that, everybody's in the phone. It's like you start dating a guy, but you don't cut off contacts with other people you hooked up with. It's just all so nasty to me.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
God, I need
it
to
is
go away and
nasty.
feel
I love
happy
you for
time.
saying that.
And I think
God.
a big part of that too is like I just think they genuinely don't know. That's why I think like women like
This is all they know. Yeah.
no, like, women like you are important. Like you really have to teach them. That's how this is going to get changed. We have to teach them like this is not okay, because women think like, yeah, it's okay to be okay, like friends with my ex. But if a guy is keeping in touch with his ex-girlfriends, that girl's just like livid. She's like,
because they know that's not, you know, it's a tricky situation. I did a whole thing on God the other day about like girls who have the single male friends
Oh no.
and they spend quality time alone with them.
Nope.
I mean, no, come on.
No.
I mean, no. I
No
would
guy's
just be
okay with
like,
that.
no, and you have to know. Like the other problem is like the guys say, well, if I speak up for myself, I'm going to lose her. Okay, you know what? Then
Yeah.
you'll lose her, and you're going to also lose a headache along with that.
Exactly. Yeah,
So-
I tell that to a lot of guys. They're afraid to lose their women, and they sacrifice their. This is what hold frame is about, right? They break their internal
Mhm.
boundaries. They break their internal
Mhm.
code in order to keep the woman. But ultimately, what they're doing is just guaranteeing that the woman's going to leave.
Right,
Yeah.
100%. All right, let's pull up this tweet from. It's about boss bitches. You see that one?
Oh God.
Poor
Oh,
Angel.
God.
Okay, so it says boss bitch, I don't need a man. You know the mantra. List of things boss bitch can't do: cook, clean, start a fire, change oil, hang a picture, jump a car, shovel snow, dig a post hole. I don't even know what that is. Clean out a culvert. I don't know what that is
Oh,
either.
God.
Admittedly, change an AC filter, reset a breaker, install a light bulb.
My shoulders just hurt right now when she said dig a post hole. Listen, if you are in the chat and you have dug a post hole, let me tell you something. You are a real man. Let me just tell you something, because that is hard, miserable work. If you don't know, YouTube video it.
But boss bitch don't need a man. So, and that's interesting. It's like they don't need a man until they need a man. Something happens in the house, and I will be straight up about this. Like, I mean, I do cook and clean, but
Mhm.
beyond that, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. My car breaks down on the side of the road. You know what I do? I call my husband. I'm like, babe,
Save me.
what do I do? You know, or if something needs to be fixed, like when my water filter needed to be installed, I wasn't hanging out below the sink, getting dirty with that. My husband was doing that. He's like a hands-on kind of guy.
Good.
So what is this about? This whole like they say I don't need a man, but they know they need a man, and ultimately they're going to find themselves needing a man, and maybe it's going to be too late.
Because just life has been so convenient for them. Like they could literally outsource all that stuff. But like I don't know. I mean,
You can't.
This man right here, Riskepa, I like concrete. Bro, I used to pick up those 80-pound bags of concrete, all right, and then dig the fucking post hole and fill the goddamn thing with the concrete. So, post hole is not a light day, especially when you're combining the both in the hot Hawaiian sun. All right, good Lord.
You can't outsource it at 10 o'clock at night, though, when something breaks in the house and there you are.
that's
and
true. That's true. I think if a lot of women dug a post hole, they would understand.
I don't know what that is.
Yeah,
What is
exactly.
that?
Exactly. It's,
I'm hilarious.
It
hell,
sounds
you ever,
dirty.
Angel, you ever dig a post hole before?
It sounds like I'm
Oh,
going to
man.
get my hands dirty doing that.
It's like you have a fence pole, like the fence have poles, and they have
Mhm.
like this kind of like scissor, like shovel. You have to like
Oh.
stab into the
I'm
ground.
good.
It's terrible.
I don't need to change my tires. I don't need to do any of that stuff.
Jay
I don't
Waller
know.
probably knows what digging a post hole is as well. That's
Oh yeah,
that's real
he
blue
seems like
collar.
the kind of guy that
It's
would
real
know
blue
to be like,
collar.
Yes,
Oh,
yeah, I
yeah.
don't know
Jay
anything
Waller
about that
definitely
stuff.
knows.
It's just
He's
so
a
funny. I
man.
don't need a man. I don't need a man. And there was an exchange about that happened with this. We're gonna do this next. So do you know who Tommy Lauren is?
Oh, I have a story for you offline for that.
Why does it have to be offline? You know I want to cut that shit. All right, I get it. I have to respect privacy. But so she writes this tweet. Let's pull her tweet up first. I don't know her personally. I know she's conservative, whatnot. But she writes, "Men under 40 have no manners towards or basic respect for women anymore. I don't know if it's rabid feminist culture or the overall pussification of the male species to blame, but it sure is disappointing."
She's just mad because she's single.
She's married now, I think.
Is she to who?
I think she got married.
When was this?
I'm pretty sure
this must have been recent.
Angel's like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure she got married.
When was
so
this?
she writes this tweet. Let's pull her tweet up first. I don't
January 12th, 2023. I think she did get married. I at this time I had no idea, but she was big mad for a while. I'm telling you, girls who go through this whole phase, they big mad, bro. They stay big mad. JP Arencibia. Jonathan Paul Arencibia is a Cuban-American former professional baseball catcher. He's 37 years old. And apparently that's who she's married to. They got married to Tommy Lauren. Oh, they got married last year. So her relationship's pretty fresh. Does he look like a simp? Oh, let's just
I don't know her personally. I know she's conservative, whatnot, but she writes, "Men under 40 have no manners towards or basic respect for women anymore. I don't know if it's rabid feminist culture or the overall pussification of the male species to blame, but it sure is disappointing."
She's just mad because she's single.
She's married now, I think.
Is she to?
See, men under 40 have no manners towards basic. I don't know if it's a rabid feminist culture or it's both. But listen, these girls have. It's so funny that like the average chick just doesn't realize how insufferable these young bitches are. Like, watch the fucking whatever podcast. These young chicks are rude and mean spirited. Fucking crazy bitch Bangs. She DM'd me, and she was going feral. I'm still deciding if I should show what she said to me on the show or not, because the Bangs episode is next. the final boss of the MLD USA tour was Bangs, and I crushed her. But what a final boss it was, huh? The final boss, defeated by the supreme leader of the Hot Dude Army. I am victorious. No hoe will ever have power over me. That was my. I have to be at the gym in 1 hour. So we got 21 minutes. The gym is 20 minutes away in the Uber, and I still got to change. Can we do this? Let's see.
The male species to blame, but it sure is disappointing.
She's just mad because she's single.
She's married now, I think.
Is she? To who?
I think she got married.
When was this?
I'm pretty sure
this must have been recent.
Angel's like, I don't know. I'm pretty sure she got married. She was engaged and then broke up, and then I think she just got married this year.
This year's 2023.
2022. I'm pretty sure she got married.
Wow.
Okay. But check this out. So I write above it, rabid feminism plays a role. You can pull that one up. I don't know if you have that one, Angel, to pull up. I write, rabid feminism plays a role. Men are consistently told their masculinity is toxic and slapped on the hand for being gentlemen. Many are also treated like garbage by modern women, insisting I don't need a man. Vile disrespect is also rampant. So I appreciate that she acknowledged that feminism played a role, like in her tweet saying, men under 40, feminism plays a role. But there's, even within that tweet, what irritated me about it is it's like, why is it all on men? Why are you putting it all on men? Why don't we acknowledge that there are also badly behaved women out there that are treating men like garbage? And as a result, what should they be doing? You internalize that stuff at some point as a guy. If you go through life as a man and you are consistently being treated like garbage, you are consistently being told your masculinity is toxic, you're consistently, being told that, you're going to get a slap on the hand if you're a gentleman. At some point, you're going to be like, you know what? I'm not going to be nice anymore. I'm done. I'm just going to stay away from all y'all crazy ladies.
Right.
So I'm so tired of like a lack of accountability for women. Like, what is your...
Why do you think when I go to America, all I do is try to smoke weed and eat edibles and like hide from the local women? No, it's just talking to them, just like, never mind. I was made a mistake. Sorry, I didn't mean to talk to you. I'm trying to find Chipotle and the dispensary.
Role in what's going on. I'm not saying there aren't men that, yes, have bad manners. That all exists, but there's women that have bad manners too.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's two parts, right? Because again, with mainstream culture in America, like depicting women as whores, like all the music, like just got like what music's saying, like get out there, marry someone, and they'll be a hoe, right? All this other music is talking about being
that song,
talking about being promiscuous, women shaking their ass, twerking, becoming a mainstream culture thing, like all this shit that is like literally painting all women as hoes, and then you have women who are not hoes being shamed by women who are hoes. Like, why aren't you a hoe? Right? I mean, being called a pick-me now is like an insult, right? But the bottom line is this: these guys are just following cultural trends, and for the majority of women who are acting like hoes, like sometimes the girls that aren't hoes get treated like one,
right?
But it's just the whole marketplace is screwed up because of female promiscuity. Really,
it's not easy. I know you said before, like, oh, it's good that I have this platform and all that. I appreciate that, but it's not easy because I don't know if you know Drew Wallow or you follow any of her commentary. She's a hardcore feminist. She's been wildly popular on TikTok, but she's on red carpets now. And the challenge is when you're conveying that message to women, modern feminism, and she'll outright say like, oh, I don't care about men are garbage, really horrible stuff that in some cases, some would label as misandry, honestly.
She's American?
I don't know her full background. She's I'm going to say it wrong, so I'm not going to say it because I don't get hate for that. But no, she I don't believe she is American.
Is she in America though?
She is in America now.
America, it ruins women too.
It deeply corrupts everything. And I cover her content a lot because I'm trying to show women like, listen, you're free to follow her advice if you want. I want you to build the life you want for yourself, but this advice is going to lead you here. And my advice is going to leave you here.
Right.
And this, you're going to be miserable. And here you have a shot to be happy. So think about what I'm saying, and I'm trying to like shake them into like reality. But
she's an immigrant to this country?
I think it was her parents who came to this country. I don't know a lot about her background. I just know about her current content.
A lot of chicks who they'll feel like, kind of like ostracized by being an immigrant in America. So what they'll do is they'll hardcore jump on the feminist bandwagon to seem like they fit in.
Well, she's making money. She's held in high esteem. I mean, it was the same thing with
how's she making her money through being endorsing
she's an
feminism?
Influencer. She's got a podcast now. She's invited to hang out with all the celebrities. That's the popular opinion to have. I mean, in the same way that if you didn't get an experimental shot in the last few years, you were shunned by media.
Right.
She's upholding a viewpoint that they want upheld because ultimately her viewpoint is going to keep men and women more separate. She talks about how you shouldn't consider your body a temple. She's may or may not use your own eyes, struggle with her weight. So, it's a different lens on the world. And I'm here saying like, no, let's call unhealthy what it is. Like obesity is not good for you. I don't care. Get off your ass and, get your shit together. You're a woman, you're a guy. It's not healthy. I'm not going to pretend it's healthy so you feel better at home. So it's just a very different way of looking at the world. But her view the powers that be want it upheld. So
Yeah.
she gets a lot of recognition and opportunities. So it's not easy to take the
I mean,
opposite view.
a lot of people do take the path of least resistance. So if
Right.
she's saying be a fat slob, be a whore, have no respect for people, because ultimately, you know what having respect for people is? It's showing respect for yourself. When I
Mhm.
respect you, it's not for you. I mean, it is for you, right? But it's ultimately for me,
For you, yeah.
right? And I think just having these, like, it's just low hanging fruit for idiots. And then, you know, one thing that really changed my life in 2022 was I looked at the bell curve of IQ, and I had like an epiphany when I realized, like, literally half of the world's population is 100 IQ or less.
It's scary.
So you're literally a coin toss to be like, is this person a mouth breeding idiot? And that makes sense for a lot of what's happening.
And hence
right
likely
now.
a robot too, which is the
And
thing.
BC.
Easily programmable, all that stuff.
And that's what the powers that be want.
Yeah, I'm going to get to the Matrix with you. We're going to do one more thing, then I'm going to get to Matrix, and then we're going to get to chat to close out. One thing that was interesting after I had this exchange with Tommy Lauren is there was someone who weighed in and she was saying, I don't need a man. There's nothing vile or disrespectful about that. And went on and on saying, if I choose to be with a man, it's because they make my life more fun. But my life is absolutely perfect without a man. They go on and on this mantra of like, somehow they don't understand. Modern women, it's very hard to get them to understand. I don't know how old this person is. I don't know anything about them. But that when you say you don't need a man on second one, it's like a horrible thing to say, and you're also minimizing chances that any guy's going to want anything to do with you. Why is this hard to comprehend?
No, it's hilarious because she wants a man.
Right.
She wants a man. She is dying for a
Right,
man.
right.
You know, listen, I dated this one girl, right? Hardcore Chinese feminist, smoke show. She's beautiful, right? But she would always go on her little Chinese, like Weibo, her like Chinese Twitter, and just talk shit about men. But then she would come over to me, snuggle up with me, be like, I love you. You're the best. I want you to take care of me. And I did a little digging, and we were like, you know, dating for about 8 months. And I realized I've never been to this girl's house. And I was just like, what's going on? And I sat her down. I'm like, why have I never been to your house? Right? What's going on here? I was like, you married? What's going on? Right? And she's like, no, I'm not married. Like, I just don't want to show you. I was like, okay, like, you're going to show me what's going on in your house or I'm leaving. And so I went to her house and she was a hoarder. She was a literal hoarder. I'll show you the video when we're offline.
Oh my
I have it on my phone.
I love that show, by the way, where you see how people, it's crazy.
It's reprehensible. It was disgusting. And she's online talking all this shit. How I don't need a man. Men are violent.
You need a housekeeper, honey.
Men are trash.
To this day, she is still talking shit about men online on her like little crazy feminist Twitter account. It's hilarious, dude. It's hilarious. That was like the breaking point from the relationship. Once I saw that house, I was like, okay, hard left. We're gonna kind of. Ugh.
Oh, and guess who helped her? Guess who helped her clean it up?
You did.
I did, right? Because I'm not a piece of shit. I'm a good guy. And when you have women like this is kind of like the equivalent of the incels or the black pill or the MGTOWs. Are like, you know, I don't need a woman. Now here's a 4-hour podcast why I don't need women. Right? All they do is sit around and talk about women. Girls like this are so sad and so damaged, and they definitely need a man, right? How are you going to tell me you don't need something and sit around and talk about it all day?
I know.
You know
I know.
what I mean?
And I just don't understand, like, I don't need a man. Like, it's like they have to say that. They have to spit that out. Like, if they were to just say, you know what, I do need a man. You know, I feel like my life would be enhanced. It would be better if I had a man in my life. There's things that I do well. There's things I don't do well. There's things that a man would do better than me. It's like there's some type of deep-seated insecurity that lies beneath that you just can't admit that there's things that a guy does better than you.
Yeah.
Like, what is, I mean, I don't have it. I don't have that chip, but I'm deeply curious about it.
You were raised with mom and dad married?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom and dad are still married.
You know, and I think that's a beautiful thing. And I think that's a big part of it because people need to understand how to work together as a team, right? Like when I move into a place, I am not decorating. I will say, here's the budget. Let's keep it cheap. Where do we need to go? Do we need to go to IKEA? Do we need to order this? But make it happen, right? I know that a woman has that natural nesting instinct.
Right.
She's going to design the house better. It's just so comfortable, right? I don't care what anybody says. When a woman cooks a meal for me, I would prefer that 10 times out of 10 compared to Uber Eats or DoorDash or eating out someplace, you know, because I mean, this may sound cliche, but I can taste the love. I can feel the affection in the food, right? And that's what I want, right? And I can also acknowledge that I'm not insecure in the sense, like I can acknowledge when a woman is better at me in certain things, right? Decorating, like taking care of children, right? You're not going to leave your kid with like, you know, here's 45-year-old Bob. He wants to babysit the kid,
right?
You know?
Right. I think was it Tate that said that? He said something about like if you went into a nursery and you saw a bunch of dudes, it would be weird. And you know, it's not something. Of course, everybody's triggered. Like, well, why would that be weird? But it would be weird. Everybody instinctually would walk into that place and be like, I think I'm gonna go check out another option. You know, just really.
Yeah.
So it's interesting.
It's like
Interesting.
if I had my house burning down and like 12 women firefighters showed up, like, man, this house is fucked.
You'd be like, all right, I have to buy a new house, right? You know, that's I say that all the time. I'm like, you know, you say you don't need a man, but let tragedy strike and let them call. Like, maybe tell me how you feel if you see me coming to help you. Me, my size, my stature, my strength, honey. You better run because I'm not going to be that helpful to you. I want to see a big, tall, strapping man. I want to see somebody who can carry weight on his shoulders. I want to see a fireman who can carry somebody like me in and out of building.
Exactly.
You
Like
know?
when I recently was looking for a house cleaner in Tokyo, right? And I had a good amount of guys apply. And I was just like, listen, dude, no offense, but never contact me again. Because like, you know this too.
Yeah.
There's man clean and then there's woman clean.
Oh, yes.
You know what I mean?
I live it. I know.
Exactly. You know, a woman will get down there in the crevices and clean everything
yes.
thoroughly.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So that's why I'm saying there are different roles that each gender has to be involved in.
It's funny. When I go home from the show, I don't like to have anyone that's not family watch my son
Right.
for many reasons.
Smart.
So, yeah,
Smart.
and my parents aren't here right now. They're in New York still. So when my mom's out here, she's in charge. But when I come to the show, I'm with my son a lot of the time. That's why I only work 3 days a week. That's a priority. He's my number one. When I come to the show, my husband, you know, will stay with him, and he's amazing. Like, best husband in the world. Love, like, they have the best relationship, you know, dad and son. But I go home and I say, babe, did a bomb go off in this house? You know what I'm saying? Like, they're on the floor playing, wrestling, doing whatever. And I'm like, oh, and he'll be like, it just doesn't, is it that bad? He just doesn't even see it.
Yeah.
But then when I tidy it up, he'll look at me and say, babe, it looks so pretty in here. It looks so like, wow, you know, so we're just different. Like, and how beautiful that, you know, he can fix what's going on wrong under the sink and I can tidy up the place. And as a team. Yay. Amazing.
Exactly.
I don't know. Society's all warped. I want to ask you one question before we head to chat and then we close out. All this talk about the matrix, I care deeply about what's going on with the World Economic Forum. I'm worried about digital currencies. I'm worried about censorship, active censorship that's going on with people. You have a very optimistic attitude. That's interesting to me.
Yeah.
I'm not as optimistic given what we've seen unfold in this country in the last couple of years and around the world when it came to the mandates and all of that craziness. How do you maintain your optimism in light of the reality that there are a group of very powerful people that are out to take everyone's individual freedom away and increasingly control society?
So we are here on this podcast right now and people are watching us because we're speaking the truth, right? People got on the internet. The internet is alive and well because of truth. People want the truth now more than ever, okay? And the fastest way to make sure someone remembers something forever is to trick them into thinking that something was right that actually wasn't right. For example, the experimental shots, right?
Yep.
So many people thought, just take this thing, I can take off the mask, I can get back to everything, you know, and just, you know, Trump's out of office, and once the orange man is gone, and
Orange man bad.
everything's going to go back to normal. A lot of those people are permanently disenfranchised by the government, big pharma, because they were conned. They were conned hardcore, right? A lot of men who get out of these relationships with bad women, you know, these guys remember, right? The reason for people like Andrew Tate becoming as popular as he has been, right? There was a need for a guy like that. A positive masculine role model. And I know you can say whatever you think about the guy. I personally think he's the victim of a political hit job. But he offered so much more positive value.
Net positive, no question.
Net positive for the entire world. Okay. And like, there's a need for that. People are searching for truth now more than ever because, you know, what happened with America? Let's talk about America for a second, right? Mainstream America, they killed God. They said God's not important anymore. You know, Christianity, quite frankly, Christianity has kind of become a joke in this country, right? And because they sold out. They sold out for, you know, I mean, really, they really sold out to keep women in the church, right? Telling them like, oh yeah, Jesus can wash away your sins and all that. You're like you're the ghost of Dick Mispass, as I call it. You know,
That's fantastic.
Jesus can wash that away. Yeah, that's my trademark.
The ghost of Dick Mispass.
Yeah,
I can't.
I say the ghost of Dick Mispass always comes back to haunt the women.
That's true.
And you know, I think people are just looking for truth. Look what Elon did with Twitter. Okay, not only did he stop the blatant censorship, have you been keeping up with the Twitter files?
Yes, I have.
People
them here as well.
People already know that this has been happening, but now the truth has been revealed. And I look at the political campaigns of misinformation that are happening against us, the propaganda. I look at that as a hardcore need because they're getting more desperate. That's how I look at things, right? I mean, everybody, you know, I can't even say my true thoughts on our current sitting president right now because things would happen to this channel, and you know, the election was totally legit. But you know, I think that this growing desperation from them is a sign that they're losing control.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think they got sloppy.
Yeah, and there are people who feel that the mandates were also a sign of desperation for obvious reasons, because
Yeah,
you shouldn't
I'm
have to
still
force people
optimistic.
into a medical decision. Something's going on, something's wrong, something's shady, something.
And it kind of goes back to the double standard. What happened
Yeah.
to my body, my choice?
Yeah.
Only when you kill a baby.
Selective, very selective, politically selective. Yeah. I mean, we cover on here. I appreciate your optimism. I think it's important to have hope. I think it's important to also have awareness. And there are some very, very ugly people right now who want to not just wreck this country, but wreck every freedom loving country, every place in the world that wants to allow people to make their own decisions for themselves. So I cover everything from the WEF, Klaus Schwab, to electric cars, to everything that can be turned off with the click of a button, you know, from outside of you. So
Good
I think it's an
content.
interesting component. I do find that a lot of people.
I'm going to end it there. It was a great show. Jed, I fucking love you, babe. I love you so much. Seriously, 10 out of 10. Amazing woman. Nothing but class. Seriously, an amazing chick. Gonna be on her show most likely. In the meantime, take a look here at the chat. All right, so we can take a look here. At what body count does a woman become a 304? Okay, 44% said 5+, 42% said 10+, 15+ was 7%, and then 20+ is 8%. So looks like you guys think more than 5 is just no bueno. No bueno. Hey, there's that. Well, listen, guys, it's been wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm going to be back here live tomorrow, Tuesday morning. It's a big one. Okay. It's MLD versus Bangs, the final boss. This might have to be done in multiple parts, but stay tuned. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace out.